Chapter 1. Zhang Province, Suni Shore Pokémon No. 1 Middle School. Wow, it was drizzling outside the window. Suan looked around at the students in blue and white school uniforms with a slightly dazed expression. What's the situation? Didn't you just get off work? What's going on with these high school classmates around me? Wake up and be reborn? On the podium, the blonde teacher said, the college entrance examination results from various places have been released. This year, a total of 277 students from our school have passed the exam to enter Pokémon University through cultural scores. 3 people were admitted to the first line through Pokémon Battle. And these 3 students are all admitted to the top Pokémon colleges. So some students who are not doing well, take note, the next year is a critical time. Everyone knows why, right? The students on the stage shouted in unison, I know. We can receive Pokémon and become trainers, huh? Pokémon? Trainer? Suan was even more confused. He was not only reborn but also reborn into a Pokémon world? Suan took out her phone and looked at the time. June 29, 2023. There are news pushed by Round Penguin under the time. The scores of top scorers in the college entrance examination in cultural courses in various places. This one is normal, but the next one is not. High school Pokémon from each province versus Wu champion. Looking at this news, Suan suddenly felt a pain in his head, and then a large number of pictures emerged from the depths of his memory. After the pain passes, Suan came to his senses. I'm really reborn in the world of Pokémon. As an Earthling, I am very familiar with the routines of time travel and rebirth. After Suan adapted, he immediately understood his current situation. Suan is now a senior high school student and is about to face the college entrance examination. There are 2 ways to take the college entrance examination. The first is to take an exam in cultural classes, which is similar to the college entrance examination in previous lives. The second is to participate in Pokémon battles. Of course, neither the first nor the second approach is actually easy. Needless to say more about the first one. For the second type, you first need to have a Pokémon. Once you own Pokémon, you can find a school to apply for the province-wide Pokémon contest for high school students. Note that this application can be applied as long as you are under 18 years old, a high school student, and have Pokémon. After successful registration, you have to take the school's competitive exam. The qualifying quota for Suni Shore High School is 10, which means you have to get into the top 10 in the whole school battle before you can participate in the subsequent battles. There are a total of 580 high schools in Zhang Province. If each school has an average of 10 students, that would be 5,800 students. Among these 5,800 candidates, the top 200 students can apply to universities across the country. Top 100, randomly selected universities across the country. Among the top 10, universities across the country are vying for you. Classmates. The blonde teacher is Suan's class teacher. She looked at the students in her class and said, Pokémon are important companions in life. They will accompany us throughout our lives. The choice of the first Pokémon is even more important, so please take this choice seriously. Let's get out of school. In Daxia, if you want to own Pokémon through normal channels, you first need to be over 16 years old, then pass a physical and mental examination, and pay normal family taxes. Sound like a lot of trouble? Think about it another way. As long as you are a normal person and not short of money. Both experience and mental assessments are conducted uniformly by the school. All the students in Suan's class passed. Suan, are you going to buy Pokémon tomorrow? Together. Zhonghang walked towards Suan. Zhonghang and Suan graduated from a junior high school and have always had a good relationship. Just the 2 of us. Zhonghang smiled and shook his head. There are also Chenting and Shen Yu. Everyone's appointment is tomorrow. It's crowded anyway, and there's a reference for each other. Refer to. A girl with a ponytail looked at Zhonghang with some surprise. You haven't decided which Pokémon to choose yet, have you? Zhonghang asked back, are you sure? Of course, Shen Yu and I have already decided. Chen Ting looked forward to it, both of us plan to buy Eevee. My Eevee's future evolution direction is Sylveon, and Shen Yu plans to evolve her Eevee into Umbreon. Zhonghang scratched his head, there are indeed many evolutionary directions for Eevee, and they are very good, but compared to Eevee, I still like the fire-type Charmander. Of course, Trico is handsome too. Or a steel-type monster like Aaron would also be good. After all, a Gran after Aaron evolves is super cool. After Zhang Hang finished speaking, he looked at Suan and said, "You must understand this tangled feeling, right?" Suan said while looking at the news on her phone, "Understood. So, I'm not sure what Pokemon I will choose tomorrow." Tip: the system is officially launched and activation rewards are issued. Hint: you have obtained the Eye of Truth. System introduction: this system will randomly issue some optional tasks based on the host's daily life. The host can obtain various props such as skills and secrets, precious secret treasures, etc. from the tasks. Tip: issue novice tasks. Task name: the first Pokemon task introduction, ask the host to obtain an Earl Dervish Pokemon. Task rewards: 6 ordinary Pokeballs, 10 bottles of Pokemon Potion, a space folding backpack, high quality fishing rod, folding off-road bicycle. The system is here. Suan is not surprised by the emergence of the system. Suan was surprised when there was no system for time travel. But the reward for this mission is to allow me to go on an adventure as soon as I get the Pokemon. After Suan complained, he looked out the window. Pidgey Spearow. A Pidgey and a Spearow take shelter from the rain under the eaves. They stared at each other fiercely, looking quite unfriendly. Race: Pidgey attribute normal/flying level, LV3, 1258. Ability: Sharp Eyes individual value qualifications, HP, 15, Attack, 15, Defense, 13, Special Attack, 15, Special Defense, 10, Speed, 13, Skills, Tackle, Sand Shaking, Gust hereditary skills, none. Race: Spearow attribute normal/flying level, LV5, 2388. Ability: Sharp Eyes individual value qualifications, HP, 10, Attack, 8, Defense, 9, Special Attack, 11, Special Defense, 9, Speed, 11, Skills, Peck, Growl, Leer hereditary skills, none. Suan can see through the eye of data that the level of this Spearow is 2 levels higher than Pidgey, but in terms of individual value, Pidgey is much better than Spearow. The rain has stopped. Spearow. Spearow flapped his wings and flew up. Spearow stared at Pidgey closely, a light shining on his pointed mouth. Pidgey also flew out from under the eaves. Pidgey. Pidgey looked at Spearow charging towards him and used Tackle. The two Pokemon collided fiercely in mid-air. Pang! Chapter 2. Come on, little Ho-Oh. Come on Pidgey. Apparently, Suan wasn't the only one to notice that these two Pokemon were fighting. Other students who originally planned to pack their things and go home also stood in front of the window and shouted to the Pokemon they supported. Pidgey. Spearow. Pang. The two Pokemon collided hard. Several feathers fell, and Spearow fell from the air and fell to the ground. Although Spearow's level is high, he is far inferior to Pidgey in terms of speed and attack power. This is a natural gap. Pidgey flew around Spearow proudly, and then flew away into the distance. Suan noticed that Pidgey gained 5 experience points from this battle. Apparently, Pokemon can grow through battles, but not much, it seems. Awesome, Pidgey! Zhang Hang cheered. Suan, what do you think of Pidgey? Speaking of which, Pidgey is not expensive, and the evolved Pidgeot is also mega handsome. Suan picked up his school bag and said, it's good. If you successfully evolve into Pidgeot, it can even take you to the sky. Yeah, right. Zhang Hang followed Suan and said with a longing expression, I already have pictures in my head. Pidgeot was flying high in the sky, and I stood on Pidgeot's back and shouted orders. Kill him, Pidgeot. Wow, so handsome. Suan looked at Zhang Hang and smiled and then said, so, you have already determined the goal. Zhang Hang suddenly showed a tangled expression again. Well, it's hard to say this. Let's talk about it tomorrow. By the way, will Uncle Su and the others come back tomorrow? Suan's parents travel and work outside all year round, and they basically treat Suan as a free family. They only ask about Suan's recent situation when they pay for living expenses every month. I won't come back, but the money has been sent. As long as I don't buy Pokemon like Quasi-God, it should be enough. Zhang Hang was amused. Quasi-God? How dare you think about it? Even if you want to buy this kind of Pokemon, you won't be able to buy it without certain channels. The two of them were chatting and had already reached the school gate. My dad's car has arrived, can I take you back? Suan shook his head, thank you. But today I want to go alone. Ha! Zhang Heng glanced at the raindrops around him and said in surprise, are you sure? Well, I'm leaving first. Suan held an umbrella, waved to Zhang Heng, and then walked along the sidewalk toward his home. Motor Lizard, wait a minute, let's put on the poncho first. Roadside shop entrance. A young man put a raincoat on the motorcycle lizard. The motorcycle lizard stretched its head to match his movements. After putting on the raincoat, the young man got into the raincoat. Let's go, motorized lizard. The motorcycle lizard barked, then jumped onto the road and left quickly. I step on it. A little boy of 5 or 6 years old stepped into a puddle on the roadside. Beside him, a Poliwhirl held an umbrella and followed it. Poliwhirl, don't let it get onto the road. Inside the store, a woman who was buying something shouted outside. Mosquito incense. Poliwhirl nodded seriously. In front of a milk tea shop. Liliant, please bring me a cup of vanilla milk tea. The girl with a DNA on her shoulder told Lilligant in the milk tea shop what she wanted to drink. Skirt. Lilligant responded and started making. Suan looked at everything on the street and truly felt that he had really entered the world of Pokémon. Sunny Shore Garden, this is the community where Suan lives. Woof. In the security room, a caller barked at Suan. The security uncle looked at Suan and said, I came back very late today. Suan knelt down and touched the caller's head. Well, I walked back today. Didn't you catch the bus? The security uncle lit a cigarette for himself. So be it. Suan stood up and said, I'm going back, Uncle Zhang. Go go. The security uncle waved his hand. Oh, right. My granddaughter is admitted to Jiangsu University this year, so you should work hard too. Hey, okay. Suan responded and walked towards his unit building. The granddaughter of the security uncle is Suan's senior and one of the 77 people named by teacher. The senior's name is Zhang Yuan, her goal is the contest competition, and she is also considered a small internet celebrity, with more than 30,000 fans on Pokemon.com. In Suan's impression, this is a very cheerful girl. Ding. Suan pressed his hand on his fingerprint lock. Rado, welcome home. The door opened and a Rotom floated out. The bathtub has been filled with water. Dinner will be done in half an hour. This Rotom is a family Pokémon specially bought by Suan's parents to take care of Suan. He knows first aid, cooking, and cleaning the house. Apart from his lack of combat skills, he can be said to be quite versatile. Good job, Rotom. After Suan said something to Rotom, he put the umbrella away at the door, and then went directly to the bathroom. Rotom happily followed Suan and said, this is what it should be. Have a nice bath, Rado. After Rotom finished speaking, he thoughtfully helped to close the door. Suan tried the water temperature and found it was suitable. After Suan took a simple shower, he soaked in the bathtub. Suan took out his phone and searched for the most suitable Pokémon for beginners. The first related search. How does a rookie trainer choose his first Pokémon partner? Suan clicked in. This is a post from a Pokémon blogger. Suan took a rough look at it. The content of the post believes that when rookie trainer creates the first Pokémon in breeder, the most important thing is to cultivate difficulty and potential. When it comes to breeder difficulty, the easiest one is definitely the grass-type Pokémon. Many grass-type Pokémon can even survive for long periods of time on just sunlight and water. Of course, if there are really scammers raising their own grass-type Pokémon like this, their combat effectiveness will definitely be very low. In addition, many grass-type Pokémon also have high potential. At least most of the grass-type Pokémon are good. Suan click on the comment below. The best in the fire element, you all choose the grass element, right? Then I'm starting to laugh. The bullshit tree doesn't bullshit, in a way, what the blogger said is right. But Pokémon should not just be a tool for fighting, Pokémon is more importantly a partner in life. So when you choose your first Pokémon, based on what you like, it is more important to get in touch with the Pokémon first and understand its character and habits, so that there will be no problems with personality incompatibility. Finally, I wish you all the best. You can meet your own Pokémon. Suan's True Eye allows Suan to understand the potential of Pokémon from its individual value and genetic skills. In addition, there is systematic help. Suan feels that even if his Pokémon's individual value is not very high in the early stage, then Suan sooner or later, you will be able to increase the personal value of your Pokémon. Suan already has an idea about how to choose Pokémon tomorrow. Chapter 3. 8 a.m., Sunny Shore Pokémon House. This way, this way. Zhang Heng, who arrived early, waved to Suan at the entrance of the base. Suan walked over. Sorry, I'm late. It's okay, no problem. Zhang Heng waved his hand. I have just arrived, and Chen Ting and Shen Yu haven't arrived yet. While Suan and Zhang Heng were talking, a taxi stopped in front of them, and then Chen Ting and Shen Yu got out. Hey, I happened to be talking about you. Zhang Heng looked at the two of them and smiled. Let's go in quickly. Let's go see your EV first or what? Chen Ting took out a map from her bag and shook it. The EV park is in the middle, we can walk all the way. The Sunny Shore Pokémon base is ranked among the top 3 Pokémon homes in Jiang Province. It faces the sea to the east and is surrounded by mountains to the north. The diverse terrain allows a variety of Pokémon to be raised here. Therefore, even in normal times, many people come to visit. Reception Hall. Welcome, please dine this way. Beautiful. Next to the restaurant, the waiter and Blossom were greeting the guests who came to dine. Mom, I want to go see Gogoat. Go see the goats. A little boy pulled on his mother's skirt and headed inside. Didn't you go to the Sunny Shore secret realm to catch that Snivy? I thought so, but I couldn't find it at all. Several young people were sitting on the sofa in the hall chatting. One of them touched Persian lying next to him and said depressedly, I didn't expect that now that I'm a trainer, I still have to buy Pokemon by myself. No way, it's not easy to meet the right Pokemon in the wild. Zhang Heng looked at the people and Pokemon inside and sighed, there are so many people, it really deserves to be the home of Sunny Shore Pokemon. Suan stood on the side and studied the map and then said to the three of them, let's go from the left. Entering on the left is the grass area, which is basically grass type and bug type Pokemon. You'll reach the EV area after walking through the forest. No problem. Several people agreed with the route given by Suan. After Suan and the others entered from the left side of the reception hall, they felt as if they had traveled from the city to the wild in an instant. It is surrounded by open meadows and small woods. Walking one shot, Oddish walked in a row on the grass, and several Bellsprout gathered together to look at the tourists outside the fence. On the tree, several baby bugs were hiding among the green leaves. Katoni, which was blown up by the wind, landed next to them and rested for a while, then floated up in the wind again. So many Pokemon! Chen Ting excitedly took out her phone and started taking pictures. Zhang Heng, help me and Shen Yu take some pictures. Zhang Heng immediately said, no problem. Looking at this scene, Suan knew that they might not be able to stop for a while, so he said, I'll go to the front and take a look. Aren't you going to shoot together? Zhang Heng asked while staring at his phone. Suan shook his head, I want to see Pokemon first. Suan said and looked at a Katoni race, Katoni attribute, Grass/Fairy level, 3 ability, Chlorophyll individual value qualifications, HP, 12, Attack, 14, Defense, 16, Special Attack, 18, Special Defense, 19, Speed, 20, Skills, Help, Absorb hereditary skills, none. Katoni is a cotton ball Pokemon. It has a soft body and is very comfortable to hold. This Katoni's ability is Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll doubles the speed of Pokemon in sunny weather. If Suan plans to form a sunny team, this Katoni is still good. Although the highest individual value is only 20, currently, this Katoni's talent is considered good. Obviously, it's not easy to meet a Pokemon with a high individual value. Gahu several Turtwigs ran out of a bush chasing each other, and then came to a waterhole to drink water. Gahu, hey, can you bring Turtwig, the one on the left who seems to be the biggest, over here and let me take a look? A boy, accompanied by his parents, asked the park staff a little arrogantly. No problem. The staff member walked over to the Turtwig, squatted down beside it, softly comforted him a few words, and then hugged Turtwig over. Gahu the staff member smiled and said, this child has a very docile personality. You can try to hold him. The boy stretched out his hand and said, come here, Turtwig. Gahu Turtwig glanced at the boy and jumped into his arms. The staff introduced, this child likes the sun, so it is best to take it to bask in the sun more often. In addition, if the leaves on Turtwig's head wither, it means that you need to replenish water immediately. Suan glanced at the Turtwig. Race, Turtwig attribute grass level, 6 ability, lush individual value qualifications, HP, 20, Attack, 21, Defense, 22, Special Attack, 16, Special Defense, 18, speed, 15, skills, tackle, leafage hereditary skills, none. I know this kind of thing without you having to tell me. The boy rolled his eyes at the staff member. The staff member smiled slightly awkwardly, sorry. The boy's mother looked doting on her face and said, are you sure? Sure, I want this Turtwig. The boy said and took the initiative to lift Turtwig in his arms. Hey, isn't this Li Muron from class 3? Zhang Hang walked to Su An's side. Have you taken the photos? Su An looked at Zhang Hang and asked. Zhang Hang sighed, this area has been photographed. Damn, that's so sloppy. I didn't expect it would take half an hour just to take a photo. Zhang Hang now focused on the other Turtwigs. Turtwig is one of the signature Pokémon here, Su An, are you interested? These Turtwig breeders are all good, with an average individual value of 20 points. Li Muron's one is considered to be above average in terms of individual value. I want to see it again. Su An said and looked at the distribution of Pokémon on the park map. Li Muron is a student in the class next to Su An and the others, and they also know Chen Ting. What a cute Turtwig! Chen Ting and Shen Yu stepped forward and said hello to Li Muron. Li Muron held Turtwig and looked at the people and said, are you here to buy Pokémon too? Yes. Chen Ting said, Shen Yu and I plan to go to the EV park in front. Zhang Hang and Su An are not sure what Pokémon to buy yet. When Li Muron heard this, he glanced at Su An and Zhang Hang behind him and shook his head. I told you how I saw Su An walking around as if he had been hit by a chaos skill. It won't work without a plan. You might as well go shopping with me. Chen Ting waved her hand, well, next time. You should stay with your family. Li Muron's mother said to Li Muron at this time, baby, let's go pay first. Good. Li Muron responded, and then said to Chen Ting, that's okay, I won't accompany you this time. But after you buy the Pokémon, you can have a battle if you are interested. After speaking, Li Muron blinked his left eye at Chen Ting and Shen Yu. Zhang Hang watched Li Muron leave and asked Chen Ting, what did Ma Baianan just say? Chen Ting said speechlessly, he said that if you are interested, we can have a battle later. Battle. Zhang Hang immediately said, isn't it easy to beat him? Chapter 4. By the EV park is very lively, and you can see many men and women interacting with EV on the lawn. EV is a very familiar Pokémon and has many evolutionary directions. Coupled with its cute appearance, it has always been among the top 3 of girls' first Pokémon rankings. Bye. One took the initiative to jump on Shen Yu's leg, and then jumped on Shen Yu's shoulder. Bai Eevee rubbed Shen Yu's cheek. Little cutie, do you want to go with me? Shen Yu looked at the Eevee and asked. Bai Eevee nodded. Shen Yu smiled slightly and then looked at Chen Ting and said, I have chosen it, and I have decided it is it. Bai Eevee followed Shen Yu and called Chen Ting. Is it confirmed so soon? Chen Ting was a little surprised. Shen Yu touched Eevee's hair, this child chose me, and I also chose it, so I don't want to think about it anymore. Hearing this, Chen Ting looked at the 2 Eevee who were looking up at her. Chen Ting thought for a moment, then patted her left shoulder. Which of you wants to go with me? Bye. Bye. The 2 Eevee exchanged calls with each other, and then the Eevee on the left jumped up on Chen Ting's shoulder. Chen Ting and Shen Yu looked at each other and smiled. Then Chen Ting looked at Zhang Hang and said, Zhang Hang, can you take a group photo for us? Okay. Su An looked at all the EV data around him. The EVs here are all good and have good personalities, but there is no Pokémon that particularly makes Su An excited. After the EV park, there is the flying zone. The main Pokémon raised here are Pidgey, Starly, and Pidove. Seeing that Zhang Hang and the others were still taking pictures, Su An came over first. 51 bags of beans to feed Pokémon. Please do not feed other foods. In front of the snack sales window, the staff explained the rules here to the tourists who asked questions. Su An bought a pack and sat down on a chair. As soon as Su An opened the package, several Pidgeys flew over. Su An put the beans in the palm of his hand, and they immediately started to peck at them. Race, Pidgey attribute normal/flying level, 5 ability, Sharp Eyes individual value qualifications, HP, 18, Attack, 15, Defense, 14, Special Attack, 17, Special Defense, 17, Speed, 21, Skills, Tackle, Shake Sand hereditary skills, none. Su An looked at the data of Pidgey in front of him. Hetchy hetchy, the ground nearby suddenly surged. Suan looked over subconsciously. Hetchy, a big head poked out from under the ground. This is a Trapinch. After Trapinch climbed out of the ground, he looked around. Race, Trapinch attribute, ground level, 5, 12/143, ability, Macamp Pliers individual value qualifications, HP, 31, attack, 31, defense, 31, special attack, 31, special defense, 30, speed, 31, skills, sand shaking, laser focus, dig hereditary skills, quick attack, earth power. I'll go, it's 6v. Suan, who was still feeding Pidgey, suddenly stood up and looked at the Trapinch with fiery eyes. Pidgey tilts his head. Trapinch, you guy, don't mess with Dig. A shout came from the hole dug by Trapinch. Suan felt nervous when she heard this voice. No way? Does this child have an owner? Soon, Suan felt relieved. A man in work clothes climbed out and said, Trapinch, no trainer would like a disobedient Pokémon. Come back with me quickly and take a shower. There will be more and more people in the afternoon. We will try to find a good place for you. As the staff member was about to take Trapinch away, Suan quickly stepped forward and stopped the staff member. Please wait a moment. The staff looked at Suan in confusion. Is something wrong? I think you don't need to take it back to take a bath. I want this child. Why? The staff member was slightly taken aback. Are you sure? Suan nodded and said seriously, I'm sure. Hetchy Trapinch turned around and looked at Suan blankly, with no expression on his face. But there is a kind of ugly and cute feeling. Suan knelt down and touched Trapinch's head and smiled, come home with me, Trapinch. The staff looked at this scene and scratched their heads and then smiled at Trapinch. You seem to have met a trainer who likes you very much. Guest, please come with me. Good. Reception room. The salesperson looked at Suan and said, this child has been born for 3 months, and his current skills include sand pulling and digging. Guest, you're in luck, honestly this should be the last batch of Trapinch at our base. Obviously, this base really doesn't pay much attention to Trapinch, and they don't even know how many skills it has mastered. Suan asked curiously, don't you choose to continue breeder? The salesperson sighed. Yes, after selling this last batch, our base will no longer be in the breeder Trapinch. Although Trapinch has the blood of dragon Pokémon, its growth rate is too slow. As far as I know, our base has sold a total of more than 20 Trapinch, but not one has successfully evolved. Suan couldn't help but complain when he heard this, is it really okay for you to tell me this? The salesperson smiled and said, if it were a normal person, of course I wouldn't say that. However, my guest, your love for Trapinch is really obvious. But don't worry, I won't increase the price because of this. The salesperson said and gave the price. The price of this Trapinch is 250,000. Also, if you buy it now, I recommend you order food and energy cubes for ground-type Pokémon for 3 months. Suan checked the price of Trapinch on the market, which is within the normal range. It is also worth mentioning that the Turtwig here sells for 500,000. Although Trapinch has the dragon bloodline known as the strongest attribute, in fact, Trapinch is not uncommon in the desert. In addition to this, the reason why Trapinch is not expensive is that it is too difficult to breed. Turtwig evolves into Sapling Turtle at level 18 and Torterra at level 32. Trapinch can evolve into Vibrava at level 35 and into Flygon at level 45. However, Suan believes that his Trapinch can definitely evolve. Suan looked at the data for the day today. Most of the Pokémon's individual values have an average value of 20. Those who can reach 20 are already considered excellent. And Suan is an almost perfect accurate 6v Pokémon. Chapter 5. Trapinch plus Pokémon food will cost you a total of 300,000 yuan. This is our free Pokeball, which has been bound to your ID card. The staff handed a Pokeball to Suan and said with a smile, now, please capture your first Pokémon. Mr. Trainer. When Suan heard this sentence from Mr. Trainer, his heart was touched. Dreams illuminate reality. Trapinch. Suan pointed the Pokeball at Trapinch, the decision is yours. Haha. Trapinch took a step forward and gently touched the Pokeball with his head. As a red light shot out, Trapinch was taken in. I conquered Trapinch. Tip, the mission is completed, you have obtained 6 ordinary Pokeballs, 10 bottles of Pokemon Potion, a space folding backpack, a high-quality fishing rod, and a folding off-road bicycle. Bang bang bang, the staff on the side applauded. Ding dong! Zhang Hang sent a message. Zhang Hang, have you completed the procedures? Suan, just right, how about you? Zhang Hang posted a selfie. There is a Pidgey standing on Zhang Hang's shoulder. Zhang Hang, we are waiting for you at Chikuo restaurant. Come on. Tree Fruit Restaurant is a Pokémon restaurant in the park. Guests can dine with smaller Pokémon. Suan was about to walk into the restaurant with Trapinch when he saw Zhang Hang walking out with an unhappy look on his face. No place left. Suan looked at Zhang Hang doubtfully. No. You came just in time. Zhang Hang looked at Suan and said, I met that mama's boy Li Muran. Watch me torture him. Behind Zhang Hang, Li Muran and Chen Ting walked out together. Torture me? Li Muran said disdainfully, don't think that you will win if you choose a flying-type Pokémon. There is a battle arena outside the restaurant. Everyone is eating at this time, so there is no need to queue. I'll be your referee. Chen Ting also seemed to be looking forward to the battle between the two, and walked directly to the middle of the battlefield. Suan and Shen Yu stood aside and watched the battle. What happened? Suan looked at Shen Yu with some confusion. Shen Yu hugged Eevee and explained, didn't Li Muran say before that we could have a Pokémon battle if we were interested? Then just now Zhang Hang was saying that his Pidgey was beating Turtwig on attribute, but Li Muran happened to hear it. Li Muran said that being dominant at attribute does not mean being strong, and then the two of them started to quarrel, and then you came. Suan nodded slightly. I see. On the battlefield. Chen Ting said excitedly, this competition will be a one-on-one battle. When one Pokémon loses the ability to fight, the game ends. Now, the game begins. Zhang Hang ordered first. Pidgey, tackle. Zhang Hang's Pidgey adjusted its posture in the air, and then hit the sapling turtle. Suan looked at Zhang Hang's Pidgey data. Race, Pidgey attribute normal/flying level, 4 ability, Sharp Eyes individual value qualifications, HP, 18, Attack, 19, Defense, 15, Special Attack, 20, Special Defense, 16, Speed, 20, Skill, Tackle. Hereditary skills, none. From the data point of view, the individual value of this Pidgey is actually similar to that of Turtwig. It also has an advantage in attributes, but its level is a bit lower. But, this Pidgey only knows Tackle. Turtwig, Leafage. In front of Turtwig, several pieces of leafage flew, and then shot towards Pidgey. Pidgey didn't show any signs of evading, and ran headlong into Turtwig's leafage attack. Pang! With a muffled sound, Pidgey fell from the air. Li Muran looked at this scene and said proudly, what's wrong? Isn't this going to work? Don't be too proud. Zhang Hang said with a displeased look on his face, we won't fall down so easily, Pidgey, stand up. Pidgey flapped his wings and really stood up again. Pidgey has a certain resistance to the grass type, so it won't be solved with one move. You see, this is our perseverance. Zhang Hang shouted happily when he saw this scene. Suan, do you think Zhang Hang can win? Shen Yu glanced at Suan, who was watching the battle seriously. It's a bit difficult. They are all new Pokémon, and the gap is actually not big, so if you want to win, I think it depends on how trainer directs them. As Suan was talking, Zhang Hang continued to shout, encore, let's see our perseverance. Go ahead, tackle. Li Muran said directly, hey, I'll deal with you now. Leafage. Pidgey attacked once. Turtwig didn't change much, just stood there and released Leafage. Pang! This time, Pidgey couldn't get back up. Ah, Pidgey. Zhang Hang saw Pidgey unable to get up and quickly ran into the field and hugged Pidgey anxiously. Chen Ting immediately said, the game is over. Pidgey can't fight, Li Muran wins. 1. Li Muran looked at Zhang Hang with a proud look on his face, don't be discouraged, there is no shame in losing to me. You still need to practice. Suan and Shen Yu both ran into the venue at this time. Zhang Hang asked anxiously, what should I do? Pidgey seems to have fainted. Don't panic. Suan said and quickly took out a bottle of potion and sprayed it on the area where Pidgey was hit. Pidgey's injuries quickly disappeared under potion's healing, and then he opened his eyes. Zhang Hang breathed a sigh of relief. Thank you, Suan. Polite. Suan smiled. Chen Ting came over and asked, Shen Yu, did you just take the photo? the temporary referee, shouldn't have made any mistakes. Shen Yu was a little embarrassed. I forgot. Ah, okay. Chen Ting was a little disappointed. Want to take a video? Li Muran walked over with confidence at this time. Isn't it okay if I'm having a fight? Li Muran said and looked at Su An. How about it, do you want to fight? Of course, I can understand if you don't fight. After all, my Turtwig attribute is very powerful against your Pokémon. But Suan, why would you want to buy a Trapinch? Hucky! Trapinch shouted at Li Muran angrily. Tip, publish daily tasks. Mission name, Trapinch's first battle. Task reward, Experience Candy XS, can provide Pokémon with a little experience value. Suan glanced at Trapinch, who was a little unhappy, and then said to Li Muran, then let's fight. Chapter 6. Forget it, Su An. Zhang Hang looked at Suan and whispered, his Turtwig is indeed quite strong. My Pidgey attribute has never been restrained, let alone your Trapinch. It doesn't matter. After Suan finished speaking, he walked to the front with his Trapinch. Li Muran said to Shen Yu, don't forget to take a video this time. Li Muran blinked his left eye as he spoke, and then returned to the battlefield with Turtwig. Shen Yu raised her phone with a headache on her face. On the battlefield, Chen Ting began to announce the rules. This competition will be a one-on-one battle. When one Pokémon loses the ability to fight, the game ends. Now, the game begins. Zhang Hang waved his hand and shouted, Turtwig, Leafage, deal with him. Suan said calmly, dig. Trapinch immediately dug in the same spot and quickly hid under the ground. Li Muran looked at Suan and shouted, hello. How can we fight like this? Come out if you have the ability. Gah! While Li Muran was talking, Turtwig lowered his head in confusion. The next second, the ground beneath Turtwig's feet sank directly. Turtwig fell into the hole. FK. Li Muran was startled and shouted quickly, Turtwig, just use Leafage when you see Trapinch. Hucka! Trapinch ignored Turtwig, who fell and climbed up along the earth wall with a sigh of relief. Trapinch stood at the entrance of the cave and took a step back. Suan ordered, laser focus. Trapinch lowered his body slightly and stared closely at the hole. Soon, Turtwig climbed out with difficulty. Suan looked at this scene and smiled slightly, go ahead, quick attack. Trapinch's body glowed slightly, and then he slammed into Turtwig. Pang! Turtwig! Li Muran exclaimed and then saw Turtwig's body rolling continuously on the ground and falling out of the battlefield. Damn it, you made a sneak attack. Li Muran stomped the stomping tantrum angrily. If you have the guts, you can collide with my Turtwig head-on. Tip, if you win the battle, you will get Experience Candy XS. Sure, if your Turtwig can still stand up. Li Muran quickly ran towards Turtwig. Turtwig fainted from the impact just now. Chen Ting said at this time, Turtwig loses the ability to fight, Trapinch wins. I went and actually won. Zhang Hang looked surprised, Suan, you guys are so awesome. Li Muran listened to Zhang Hang's reluctance and said, Tisk, if we fight head-on, we won't lose. And it's because my Turtwig has just fought a match, otherwise, he would definitely win. Suan was too lazy to argue with him about this kind of thing. Suan took out the experience candy. Thank you for your hard work, Trapinch. Hucka! Trapinch rubbed Suan's wrist, and then swallowed the experience candy. Tip, your Trapinch uses experience candy XS, and your Trapinch gains a little experience. Tip, your Trapinch has reached level 7. Although the experience value provided by the experience candy XS is not much, for the current Trapinch, it is obviously enough to make it 2 levels. Race, Trapinch attribute, ground level, 7, 112/356, ability, Macamp Pliers individual value qualifications, HP, 31, attack, 31, defense, 31, special attack, 31, special defense, 30, speed, 31, skills, sand shaking, laser focus, dig hereditary skills, quick attack, earth power. Bravo! Shen Yu looked at Suan in surprise, that was the tactic just now, right? Suan touched Trapinch's head and smiled, thank you for the compliment, but it's all because of Trapinch's hard work. Huja! Trapinch shook his head. Hey, don't be too proud. Li Muran put Turtwig away. I was just careless. Anyway, I will take part in this year's Pokémon martial arts test. Then I will let you see how strong my Turtwig is. Li Muron, you can't afford to lose. Zhang Hang mocked at this time, why are you so tough-mouthed? Li Muron glanced at Zhang Hang and snorted coldly, my general is defeated. After Li Muron finished speaking, he put away his Turtwig and turned around to leave. You. Zhang Hang pointed at Li Muron's back and said unhappily, you still have this power trip after losing. Suan patted Zhang Hang on the shoulder, let's go and eat. Tree Fruit Restaurant. Because this is a place to dine with Pokémon, there are no chairs in the restaurant. Everyone sits on the floor with a cushion. Trapinch and Eevee have Pokémon-specific bowls in front of them. Several Pokémon get along fairly well. What are your plans for this summer vacation? Chen Ting looked at everyone and asked. I want to attend a cram school. Shen Yu said softly, because I want to study in the breeder department of Jiangsu University. The score requirements of this department are quite high. Sharp. Zhang Hang gave a thumbs up and then said, I should train my Pidgey well this summer vacation. It would be better if I can make it evolve. Chen Ting rolled her eyes, you can really dream. Zhang Hang shook his hair, I still have to dream, what about you, Suan? Suan thought for a while and then said, I plan to go to the Sunny Shore secret place with Trapinch to stay for a while. Sunny Shore secret realm. Zhang Hang looked at Suan in surprise and said, the Sunny Shore secret realm is not safe these days. Is it too dangerous where you go? That is to say, the Sunny Shore secret realm just experienced a time and space distortion a month ago, and the Pokémon in it should be full of aggression. Chen Ting followed, even if I want to go, I think it's safer to sign up for a group tour. The secret realm can be understood as a special space attached to this world, a small world formed after the distortion of time and space. The distortion of time and space is a very strange phenomenon that scientists still cannot explain. Rare Pokémon, magical secret treasures, Pokémon evolution stones and even historical relics will appear out of thin air in the twisted space. Therefore, some people believe that the distortion of time and space is actually a passage to a parallel world, but this passage is one way. Some distorted spaces may disappear naturally, but some will remain stably. These preserved twisted spaces have become secret realms. And there is a great possibility that time and space will be distorted again in any secret area. Pokémon appearing in the twisted space will fall into chaotic and manic contest conditions. These Pokémon will cause the original Pokémon in the secret to become aggressive, so all secret realms are unfit for human habitation. But precisely because twisted spaces and various precious secret treasures may appear at any time in the secret realm, the secret realm has become a holy place for all Pokémon trainer adventures. Suan looked at everyone and smiled, don't worry, if I really go, I will definitely be fully prepared. I think you will definitely go. Zhang Hang hesitated for a moment and then said, how many days do you plan to stay in the secret realm? I thought maybe we could form a team. Suan, if there's nothing going on outside, I might spend the entire summer vacation inside. Zhang Hang, you're so cruel, I'm disturbing you. Chapter 7. Suan and Trapinch arrived home. Rado, welcome home. Rodom looked at Suan and Trapinch who had arrived home and said hello warmly. Huja Trapinch looked up at Rodom curiously. Suan said to Trapinch, this is Rodom, please get along well with him. Huja Trapinch nodded his big head. Rodom, give Trapinch a tour at home. Okay Rado, since Suan plans to go to the Sunny Shore secret realm, he must prepare now. Suan sat at the computer and began to search for information about the Sunny Shore secret realm. The secret of Sunny Shore is on a small island east of Sunny Shore City, which can be reached by boat in half an hour. This secret place appeared in 2000 and has a history of 23 years. The area inside the secret realm is about 700 square kilometers, which is similar to the area occupied by Sunny Shore City. Because this secret realm has such a long history, there is not much value for exploration in it. But the space distortion a month ago made this secret realm appear again in people's sight. Some people on the internet said that they had subdued Aerodactyl, which should have been extinct long ago, and there were also reports that someone had found the poison-type secret treasure Black Sludge. What is certain is that the current Sunny Shore secret realm is definitely more valuable to explore than before. When traveling, you must first ensure a place to stay and safety. There are 3 large campsites in the secret area, which are officially organized, and explorers can rest in the campsites. Of course, if you are confident in your own strength, you can also find a place to set up a camp. Suan was not yet swollen enough to feel that he could survive in the wild, so Su-un focused on understanding the locations and facilities of the 3 campsites. The 3 camps are located at the entrance of the Secret Realm, the middle of the Secret Realm and the depth of the Secret Realm. You can heal Pokémon and buy food and outdoor supplies at the campsite. After deciding on the location and facilities of the campsite, Su-un began to pack up the things he wanted to take away. Su-un first took out all his novice mission rewards. When fully folded, a folding off-road bicycle is only the size of a tire. Su-un put the folding bike into the space backpack. Needless to say, you must bring a fishing rod. Su-un does not have outdoor equipment such as tents, jackets, and outdoor cooking utensils at home. Su-un placed an order directly on the official website and it is expected to be delivered tomorrow. Su-un and Trapinch each prepared a month's worth of food. After Su-un was ready to travel, she started planning Trapinch's training. Trapinch is a physical attacker, but his shortcoming is speed. But after Trapinch evolves, it will become a high-speed physical attacker. Trapinch's strongest attack skill at this stage is obviously Earth Power. However, since Trapinch can inherit skills like Earth Power, it means that Trapinch should have a high sensitivity to ground energy. Maybe Trapinch can master a big move like Earthquake during training. On defense, Su-un plans to let Trapinch learn to protect or endure. Su-un doesn't have any ideas for learning skills yet, but Su-un can help Trapinch train existing skills. The speed of skill release and the accuracy of attacks can all be trained. Su-un quickly planned a set of training for Trapinch by referring to online training videos and materials and based on his own conditions. Hooja Trapinch came over, rubbed Su-un's calf, then lay down under the table and closed his eyes. Trapinch fell asleep. Seeing this, Su-un gently closed the computer, then took a blanket and covered Trapinch's body. Su-un sat on the sofa aside and smiled when he looked at Trapinch sleeping under the desk. Slept so sweetly. Ding dong, Su-un's cell phone rang. Su-un quickly set it to vibrate, and then opened the message. Chen Ting, Su-un, you are popular. Chen Ting said and sent a video link to Pokémon Network. Su-un clicks in to take a look. This is a video with over 1,000 likes. For high school students, having 1,000 likes is already very good. The content of the video is exactly the battle between Su-un and Lee Muron. Most liked comments. My master is Punchame, the difference is visible at a glance, it is obviously a master playing a trumpet. There is a reply below this comment. The goal is to conquer Mew, I was there, and this Turtwig had already won a game at that time, and it only lost because it was exhausted. What's interesting is that the person whose ID is Conquer Mew has to comment on every high-like comment below. Su-un curiously clicked on his profile picture, and then discovered that this person was Lee Muron. At the same time, Lee Muron's family. Hateful. Lee Muron smashed his cell phone on the bed angrily. These gangsters don't understand anything at all. Oh, baby, don't be angry. Lee Muron's mother heard Lee Muron losing his temper in the room and walked in with a distressed look on her face. That guy is just lucky. It would be great if we can win it back next time. Lee Muron's mother hugged Lee Muron and said, Mom hired a professional trainer from outside to help you train. This way, when the summer vacation is over and school starts, you can give your classmate a hard lesson. Even if I don't need the help of a professional trainer, I can still defeat that guy Su-un. Lee Muron said arrogantly, however, since we have invited everyone, we can't waste money. By the way, has that professional trainer won any awards? Lee Muron's mother quickly took out her cell phone and said, the information says that he won the Oddish competition and now has 2 gym badges. Oddish contest? What kind of wild contest is this? But if I can get 2 gym badges, my strength should be pretty good. After speaking, Lee Muron picked up his phone and looked at today's battle video on his phone and said fiercely, just wait for me. Next time, I will defeat you in 1 minute. Chapter 8. Boom, boom. Hello, courier. In the morning, there was a knock on the door. Here we come, Rado Rodom opened the door. Is this Mr. Su's house? Yes, Rado. Su-un walked out of the bathroom with a towel wiping her wet hair. Come so fast. Su-un was a little surprised at the speed of express delivery in this world. The courier looked at Su-un and showed a very standard smile. The slogan of Tailwind Express is safety and efficiency. If you are satisfied, you can give me a 5-star review by Diao next to the window outside the corridor at the door, a Pidgeot barked. Race, Pidgeot attribute normal/flying level, 37 ability, sharp eyes individual value qualifications, HP, 20, Attack, 21, Defense, 18, Special Attack, 18, Special Defense, 20, Speed, 22, Skills, Hurricane, Tackle, Gust, Quick Attack, Whirlwind, Twister, Feather Dance, Agility. Hereditary skills, none. This Pidgeot has the highest level among all the Pokémon Suwon has seen so far. The express delivery industry is like a hidden dragon and a crouching tiger. In fact, couriers in this world do need a certain level of strength. Please confirm your items. The courier boy took out a storage ball and pointed it at the open space in the living room. As a red light shot out, he saw packed cartons appearing on the floor one after another. Storage balls can definitely be counted among the top 10 convenient inventions. Because of the invention of storage balls, you can often see in the wild that a person who only carries a backpack can take out a lot of food, tables, chairs, and even a refrigerator. Of course, if you want to bring a refrigerator, you will definitely need a mobile power supply. The disadvantage is that you can only put everything out every time you take it. Hoja Trapinch crawled over and sniffed the things, looking very curious. Trapinch, do you want to help unpack the package? Hoja Trapinch nodded, then opened his mouth and tore off the express seal of the box in front of him. Suwon took out the things, confirmed everything, signed his name on the express delivery form, and gave a casual praise. The courier boy smiled brightly and said, "I wish you a happy life." After he finished speaking, he quickly climbed onto Pidgeot's back from under the window in the corridor. Bai Diao. Pidgeot chirped, then flapped its wings and flew into the sky. Hoja. Trapinch looked at Pidgeot with some longing. Suwon rubbed Trapinch's head and smiled, "Don't worry, we can fly like this in the future." Hoja. Trapinch nodded. Suwon looked at the equipment lying around and said, "If the equipment arrives so quickly, we can set off this afternoon." Suwon's mobility is very strong. After making the decision, Su immediately booked a boat to the secret land of Suni Shore. The boat sails at 2 p.m. It's just after 8 o'clock now. Buzz buzz, the phone alerted that someone had sent a message. Suwon, who was packing her things, picked up her phone and took a look. Zhang Yuan, hello, are you busy? Suwon was a little surprised why this senior sister suddenly sent him a message. Although the two live in the same community, they have basically no contact. Suwon answered the message with her cell phone. Is something wrong? Zhang Yuan, I saw your battle video in the same city. You played very well, so I wanted to play with you. Tip, trigger daily tasks. Task name, Senior Sisters Challenge. Task requirement, win the battle. Task reward, experience candy XS, copy the secret skill once, any skill among rival skills can be copied. The reward is not bad and Suwon is not going to refuse it. Suwon, when? Zhang Yuan, are you at home now? Suwon, yes. Not long after Suwon finished replying, there was a knock on the door. Suwon opened the door. Zhang Yuan can become a small internet celebrity on Pokemon.com, and her appearance is naturally good enough. The white shirt top and green skirt make her look full of youth and sunshine. Zhang Yuan handed over 2 cups of milk tea with a smile and said, "Please give me one for you and one for Trapinch." "Thank you, please come in." Suwon said and moved away. Suwon poured milk tea into the basin prepared for Trapinch. Huka Trapinch stepped forward, sniffed it and immediately drank happily. Zhang Yuan sat down on the sofa. "It seems that you like your Trapinch very much. The milk tea Trapinch drinks is called Xiaoxian milk. Fairy milk is a fairy-type Pokémon. The cheapest milk tea of this brand starts at 58 yuan. If you drink 2 more cups, you can buy an ordinary Pokeball." Suwon looked at Zhang Yuan and said, "Senior sister doesn't seem to simply want to fight." Zhang Yuan put her hands on the sofa and twisted her slender waist like a water snake. "Gee, you know that? I am an internet celebrity, although I am not very famous yet. Of course the battle is real, we just have to make a video." Suwon asked curiously, "Is that the kind of script you need to shoot for a video? For example, you want me to lose on purpose?" Zhang Yuan rolled her eyes. "You seem to look down on your sister's strength. There is a script, but you don't have to lose on purpose, just say a few sentences." "Here, I've written all my lines," Zhang Yuan said, taking out a notebook from her bag and handing it to Suwon. After just one glance, Suwon understood what the script was about. The plot is that Zhang Yuan invites Suwon to play a battle as a coordinator. But Suwon believes that coordination trainers are definitely not as powerful as professional trainers. There are often quarrels on the internet over who is stronger, the coordination trainer or the professional trainer. This kind of topic is definitely not lacking in popularity. At the end of the script, Suwon lost the game, and then recognized the combat effectiveness of the coordinated trainer. After Suwon read the script, he asked, "What should I do if I win the script?" Zhang Yuan opened her mouth and was speechless. "If you win, I'll give you an annual pass to the Pokémon Training Center." "Please, sister, I am someone who got admitted to Jiangnan University. And my beautifully has evolved for more than 2 months. Your Trapinch was born not long ago, right?" Seeing that Zhang Yuan was so confident, Suwon didn't say anything more. "I understand, when will we start?" "Because I will be busy in a moment." "Now then." Zhang Yuan stood up. "Shall we go directly to the battlefield?" "Okay, let me pack my things." "Packing up, tidy up." Zhang Yuan looked at Suwon and asked curiously, "Where are you going?" Sunny Shore Secret Place. Chapter 9. Sunny Shore Training Hall, Training Ground. Trapinch, after I give the order, you use quick attack to tackle the moving wooden pile in front of you. Hucky. Trapinch nodded seriously, and then focused on staring at a wooden stake that was moving left and right in front of him. "Come on, quick attack." Hucky. Trapinch's body was wrapped in white light and quickly hit the wooden stake. Peng accurate hit. "Hey, what a coincidence. Junior brother, are you coming to train too?" Zhang Yuan came smiling from a short distance away. "What's up?" "I heard that my junior played a very exciting game yesterday, so I wanted to challenge him." "Senior is the coordinator, right?" When Zhang Yuan heard this, the smile on her face disappeared and her eyebrows raised slightly. "What? Looking down on coordinator trainer? Then we're going to have a battle." "You wouldn't dare, would you?" Suwon was expressionless and said coldly, "My goal is to become a professional trainer. A professional trainer will not refuse anyone's challenge." The above are all script lines written by senior students. "Okay." Zhang Yuan looked at the results and then said to Suwon, "This time it's okay." Suwon breathed a sigh of relief. "Then we can fight next." Zhang Yuan smiled, "Of course, don't be too shocked if you lose. Let's go, beautifully." Race, beautifully attribute, bug/flying level, 12 ability, insect premonition individual value qualifications, HP, 15, attack, 18, defense, 15, special attack, 21, special defense, 18, speed, 20, skills, gust, tackle, string shot, harden, poison barb, bug bite. Hereditary skills, none. Bug type is the fastest system to take shape, so although beautifully is already in its final evolved form, its level is not high. "Junior, you attack first." Zhang Yuan looked at Suwon confidently. Trapinch's speed is a shortcoming, not to mention that it currently lacks attack methods, so attacking first does not have an advantage. Suwon thought for a moment and ordered, "Trapinch, don't rush to attack, pay attention to Beautifly's movements." Hucky. Trapinch concentrated and stared closely at Beautifly. Zhang Yuan saw this and smiled, "If you don't attack, then we will attack." "Beautifully, let him see our contest." String shot. Pu Beautifully groaned softly, and then used string shot. During the Pokémon battle, Trainer Normal gives instructions at a macro level, and the details are perfected by Pokémon themselves. Trapinch moved left and right to dodge. But what confused Trapinch was that string shot didn't attack immediately. Beautifly's string shot sprayed towards both sides of the mouth, and then drew a heart upward. Beautifully used her own silk thread to draw a white heart in the air. After the heart was formed, the silk thread shot towards Trapinch. Although Trapinch was very slow, he easily dodged such an attack. Zhang Yuan was surprised when she saw this. "Your Trapinch response is good and the speed is very fast." "Suwon. What's the meaning? Are you making fun of me?" Suwon was confused for a moment, but Suwon quickly reacted. "This is how to coordinate trainer battles. For coordination trainers, the contest degree of skills takes precedence over the power of skills on the field. In this case, this battle may be much easier than I thought." Suwon thought of this and had a strategy in mind. Zhang Yuan said again, "Beautifully, we have to take aim this time." String shot. Trapinch, dig. Trapinch immediately got into the ground and avoided the string shot attack. Trapinch, get ready to hunt. Su-an said loudly. Under the cave. Trapinch heard Su-an's order and stopped moving forward. In the wild, Trapinch instinctively digs, then waits for its prey to fall into the trap it dug. Trapinch thought for a moment, then turned around and lay down at the entrance of the cave, staring closely at the outside. Trapinch used laser focus and began to concentrate his power. Zhang Yuan smiled at this time and said, dig. This move can indeed temporarily dodge the attack, but today my senior will teach you a lesson. When facing Dig's move, if you are using a water-type Pokémon, then go inward for Water Spout. If you are using a fire-type Pokémon, go inward for Eruption. As for us, Zhang Yuan ordered confidently. Come on, Gust. Beautifully blocked the entrance to the hole dug by Trapinch. Small-scale strong winds blew around Beautifly's body. These strong winds surrounded Beautifly and seemed to be posing in some shape. But, right now, Hucky! An orange figure rushed out like lightning and slammed into Beautifly's body. Pang! Beautifly was tackled by Trapinch. Trapinch looked at Beautifly who was pressed under him. The violent energy belonging to the dragon system in his blood made Trapinch instinctively excited. Hucka Trapinch opened his mouth and bit Beautifly's wings, then fluttered them up. Plop! Beautifly instantly let out a shrill growl. Trapinch shook his head and threw Beautifly away. Beautifully flapped its wings and looked at Trapinch in horror. Tip, your Trapinch mastered the bite skill during the battle. Hucka Trapinch watched Beautifly, who was flying again, spread out his limbs and rush over. Beautifly, get out of the way. Zhang Yuan looked at Beautifly who seemed to be frightened and didn't care about contest anymore, and shouted hurriedly. Beautifly stayed in place in horror, and was hit by Trapinch again. Pang! Beautifly fell to the ground. The electronic referee in the venue made a decision with a mechanical voice. Beautifly loses the ability to fight and Trapinch wins. Tip, mission accomplished. You gain experience Candy XS, and you can copy skills from Beautifly. Among the skills that Beautifly knows, only Gust can be learned by Trapinch. So Su-an copied the secret technique Gust. Learning one more attribute attacks will be of great help to Trapinch. I actually lost, and I lost so quickly. Zhang Yuan looked a little unbelievable, with a dull look on her face. Su-an hesitated for a moment, then walked up to Zhang Yuan. Senior, the contest competition and the regular Pokémon battle are two different types of competitions. Contest contestants pursue the appreciation of skills and the beauty of art. Professional trainers, on the other hand, pursue strength and speed. If you use the rules of the contest to compete with me in Pokémon battle, you have already limited your ability to fight Beautifly. Of course, if I fight you in a contest, I will definitely lose. Zhang Yuan, who looked disappointed just now, raised her head and looked at Su-an and suddenly said, put your hand on my head. Su-an? Hurry up. Zhang Yuan lowered her voice and said quickly, put it on and rub it, and then say stick to your own ideas and move on. Su-an was speechless for a moment. Su-an stretched out his hand and put it on Zhang Yuan's head and rubbed it gently. Zhang Yuan looked at Su-an, her face slightly red. Senior sister, stick to your own path, and you will become a true master of coordination. Zhang Yuan looked at Su-an who was approaching her, her face getting redder and redder. Well, let me go and see the effect. Zhang Yuan quickly ran to the camera she had set up and watched the scene she just shot. Zhang Yuan showed a satisfied look. Really good. Su-an smiled helplessly. Senior sister, I'm not sure whether you can become a master of coordination, but you will definitely succeed in making videos. Hehe, thank you. Su-an looked at the time, it was already 12 o'clock. Su-an said to Zhang Yuan, if nothing happens, I'll leave first. Okay. Zhang Yuan asked while fiddling with her camera, by the way, how many days are you going to visit the secret realm? When I finish editing the video, I'll treat you to dinner. No. Su-an picked up her bag. I should be in there until school starts. Okay, come back early. After Zhang Yuan finished speaking, she suddenly realized something was wrong. Etc. How many days to stay? A whole summer vacation? Zhang Yuan quickly raised her head. Su-an had already walked out of the room and closed the door. Zhang Yuan murmured, is this guy joking? Chapter 10. Sunny Shore Pier. Su-an and Trapinch are queuing up to board the ship. Although more than a month has passed since the twisted space of the Sunny Shore secret realm, there are still many people who plan to try their luck. The waiting room at the dock was filled with people preparing to board the ship. Of course, not everyone has to wait for the boat to pick them up. Come out, devouring turtle. A young man took out a pokeball and pressed the release button against the sea. Along with a red light, a violent turtle appeared on the sea. He jumped directly onto the back of the devouring turtle. The violent turtle swam towards the sea. Su-un took a look at the data of the devouring turtle. Race, devouring turtle attribute water/rock level, 25 ability, hard shell armor individual value qualifications, HP, 21, attack, 20, defense, 22, special attack, 16, special defense, 17, speed, 15, skills, tackle, bite, water gun, protect, crunch, rock polish, razor shell. Hereditary skills, none. Thank you for your hard work, Firo. A guy next to him released his Firo. He smoothed the hair on Firo's body, then turned over and jumped on Firo's body. Firo flapped his wings and flew to the sea with his trainer. This Firo's level is even lower than that of the devouring turtle, only level 23. In fact, the level of the devouring turtle is the highest level Pokémon Su-un has seen at the dock so far. Trainers who are truly capable have already entered the twisted space to hunt for treasures when it first appeared. Now comes the half-hit rookie trainer. The other half are purely tourists. For example, the dozen or so ants in front of Su-un. Thank you for your hard work, Firo. Behind Su-un, a strange voice came from behind. Su-un glanced back. This is a tall and lanky young man. With an unhappy look on his face, he complained to his friend behind him, it's completely understandable that the turtle was only released at the beach. His flying-type Pokémon can obviously fly over directly, but he has to be released here to show off. His friend was fat and wore a hat. The fat man said cheerfully, if you're not happy, you can also catch a flying Pokémon. Catch it, catch it. If I can't find that Snivy this time, I will just capture a Pokémon like Pidgeot or Firo in the secret realm, and then I can fly here every day. Snivy? Su-un remembered that she had heard someone say that she wanted to catch Snivy in the Sunny Shore secret realm. Snivy's market price ranges from 500,000 to 2 million yuan depending on its appearance, ability, and skills. This price is not unaffordable for professional trainers. The question is whether it is necessary. Suppose you buy a $1 million Snivy, then subsequent cultivation will cost at least several hundred thousand, or even more. But if you don't buy Snivy, but use all the money to invest in your own Pokémon, at least you can see the growth of your own Pokémon. But if you catch a high-potential Snivy in the wild, it will be different. Su-un took out his mobile phone and searched for keywords. Sunny Shore Secret, Snivy. Someone posted a video on the official website of Sunny Shore Secret Realm. The video is short, only 3 seconds. In the video, a Snivy uses Vine Whip to wrap around a tree branch and disappear into the woods like a normal swing. Hoja, when Su-un was looking at her phone, Trapinch at Su-un's feet called out. Su-un and Trapinch have already lined up at the boarding gate. Trapinch stood on the shore and glanced at the turbid water below, then backed away nervously. Ground-type Pokémon are somewhat uncomfortable with the sea. Su-un hugged Trapinch and comforted him, do you want to score inside? Hoja. Trapinch raised his head and glanced at the Pico lying on the shoulder of the ant in front of him. He hesitated and shook his head. That's brave, Trapinch. Su-un smiled and praised, then walked to the boat with Trapinch in his arms. The sailing time was only half an hour, so Su-un did not go on the deck, but just stood on the deck and enjoyed the sea view with Trapinch. Soon, the ship sailed. The dock gradually disappeared from sight. Ahead, a small island gradually became clear. This island is where the secret realm of Sunny Shore is located. Although the water at the pier is turbid, the water near the island is very clear. A group of Finians avoided the cruise ship and swam away. On the rocks above the sea, 2 Corsola are basking in the Sunday mantine, go. On the sea level, someone was lying on a mantine and shouted loudly. Mantine jumped up, gliding in the air. The man on mantine's back immediately stood up. Like the diver normal, he jumped from mantine's body into the sea water. Because it is summer, there are quite a few people here at water sport. Several surf players stepped on the surfboards. Pulled by Popper's dolphins, they quickly approached Su-un's cruise ship. Hi, they whistled loudly, waved their hands, and smiled. Wow, it's Popper's dolphin. So hot. Kaka, the tourists on the boat, also looked very excited, waving in response and snapping pictures with their cameras. This is the taste of summer. The ship has docked. Suan and Trapinch lined up to disembark. Although this island is not big, it has hotels, restaurants, and B&Bs. As soon as Suan got off the boat, he saw someone holding a sign and shouting, "If you book a Seagull B&B, follow me. There's a queue here at the Blue Ocean Hotel." Gue Croagunk shook the sign in his hand vigorously. The people who got off the boat quickly divided into two groups. One group came for vacation. There was also a group of people walking directly towards the entrance to the secret realm in front. The entrance to the secret realm is a grotto. Everyone can enter. Suan followed the crowd towards the grotto. There is only a straight line inside the grotto, and it is very dark inside. The exit is about 10 meters in front. The exit was glowing with white light. Suan and Trapinch lined up and walked into the light. The secret place of Sunny Shore has arrived. The secret of Sunny Shore is on the island, but at this moment, Suan could only see endless woods as far as the eye could see. Suan seemed to have traveled from the island to the forest instantly. Tip: Issue experience tasks. Task Requirement 1, defeat 10 wild Pokémon in the secret area. Task Award 1, Experience Candy S*3, can add a small amount of experience points to Pokémon. Experience Candy S is an upgraded version of Experience Candy XS. Tip: Issue challenge tasks. Task Requirement, defeat 3 trainers in the secret area. Task Reward, Secret Skill Sandstorm. Tip: Issue treasure hunt tasks. Task Requirement, find the treasure hidden in the secret area according to the map prompts. Treasure map distributed. Chapter 11. A new map appeared in Suan's hand. This map is the map of the Sunny Shore secret realm. The difference is that the map of the ordinary Sunny Shore secret only has the location of the campsite and the approximate route. The map provided by the system details the distribution and level of all Pokémon in the secret area. Suan's current location is at the bottom of the map, which is the south of the map. The location of the treasure is in the northernmost part of the secret realm, which is the deepest part. The logo is a treasure chest. There is an R-box sitting above the treasure chest, level 30. In order to get the treasure, Suan needs to traverse the entire secret realm and defeat it. Suan put down the map and looked around. The first campsite is right next to it. Suan could see many tents pitched on the camping ground while standing next to the entrance to the secret realm. There is a rainforest area heading east along the campsite. There are bug-type Pokémon such as Venonat, Surskit, Durant, and Beedrill scattered there. The highest level in the forest is a level 18 Beedrill. If you don't go east and go west, you will pass through a swamp. Poison-type Pokémon such as Grimer and Stunky live in the swamp. The highest level in this area is a level 17 Stunky. It looks like I'll be staying here for a while. After Suan looked at the map and thought for a while, he quickly made an arrangement. Suan plans to complete challenge tasks and experience tasks in this area. Now, Suan needs to go to the camp to set up a tent. Suan bought an automatic tent, which can be laid flat on the ground and pulled into shape. The only thing left to do is to put in the ground nails. Suan found a flat open space. This place is on the outskirts of the camp and there are not many people. Hoja Trapinch tilted his head as he watched Suan drive nails into the ground, and then immediately lifted one of the nails with his mouth. Trapinch walked to the other corner of the tent and inserted the ground pegs into the ground along the holes. Trapinch stretched out his front foot and pressed down, and the ground spike was easily pressed into the ground by Trapinch. Hoja Trapinch nodded with satisfaction, and then looked at Suan expectantly. "Well done." Suan smiled and praised. After one person and one Pokémon inserted the remaining 2 rods respectively, Suan got the tent set up. "Guedud, roll out. Don't be afraid, Swinub, we use Ice Shard." There were people fighting in the open space outside the camp. Suan felt a little itchy watching their battle. But the levels of these 2 Pokémon are 119 and 117. After Trapinch ate the candies he got today, his level was only level 8, and the gap between the 2 sides was still a bit big. In the surrounding open space, there are many people fighting and training their skills here. Suan plans to find a suitable rival for Trapinch. "Darumaka, you have to predict the direction it will fall and then fight." A young man is training his Darumaka. This is a level 13 Darumaka. His trainer held a stone in his hand and threw it at soaring in the sky. "Fire, fire!" Darumaka took a deep breath, then sprayed ember towards the stone. "Pa, successful hit." There is not much difference between this Darumaka and Trapinch. Can fight. Suan noticed that Darumaka's trainer was also facing him at this time. The moment their eyes meet, its trainers signal to initiate a battle. Suan took the initiative to step forward. Hello, do you want to have a battle? The owner of Darumaka glanced at Suan in surprise and then shook his head. Sorry, I'm not free now. Suan was stunned and suddenly felt embarrassed. Sorry, I just noticed that you were looking at me, so I thought you would want to fight. Looking at you. This. Darumaka's trainer suddenly said, you must have watched that movie too. He smiled. Although the protagonist in the movie said that when trainers' eyes met, it was an invitation to fight, which was really passionate. But in reality, it's a bit. Suan understood what he meant. Of course it's normal if it's a friend who has made an appointment to play against each other before. But to a stranger, this would be like the glove-throwing challenge in Suan's previous life. There are definitely people who agree. But most people don't want to. After all, you get hurt when you fight. It's okay to win, at least you can show off. But if you lose, there will be no benefit at all. If the injury is serious, you have to go to the hospital for treatment. Darumaka's trainer added another sentence after finishing speaking. Besides, I only look at you because you are looking at me. Excuse me. Suan said awkwardly, then if there is a chance, let's fight again. I go first. Good. Suan left here quickly. Trapinch followed Suan without knowing why. Hoja Trapinch looked at the Darumaka, then opened his mouth and bit Suan. Although Trapinch does not understand human language. But Suan felt that she could understand the consciousness Trapinch wanted to express. Trapinch seems to be asking Suan if he wants to beat that Pokemon. Trapinch can go right over and bite it. Suan knelt down and rubbed Trapinch's head and said, this is not okay, Trapinch. If others don't agree, we can't take the initiative to launch an attack. Trapinch tilted his head, his little eyes showing confusion. For Pokemon, if you want to fight, just use a skill to throw it away. Pokemon doesn't care whether the other person agrees or not. Especially carnivorous Pokemon like Trapinch. They can never ask before hunting, are you ready? I'm going to attack you. That's stupid. Because humans make rules this way, but under special circumstances, you don't have to abide by such rules. Hoja. What are special circumstances? Trapinch looked confused. Suan knelt down and smiled at Trapinch. When you feel that it is impossible not to take action, it is a special situation. Let's go and challenge the Pokemon in the secret realm. Trapinch shook his head. Trapinch didn't quite understand Suan's words. But that's okay. Trapinch knows that Suan is his trainer. Just leave that troublesome matter to the trainer to decide. What Trapinch has to do is to kill all the enemies in front of him when his trainer lets him attack. Trapinch followed Suan. One person and one Pokemon walked along the path towards the east side of the camp. Chapter 12. July in the south is muggy and hot. What's more, it's still in such a rainforest. There are shrubs and poisonous plants growing everywhere. Dense mosquitoes were flying all over the sky. For his own safety, Suan wore a thick layer of protective clothing and sprayed anti-mosquito spray. There are a lot of wild Pokemon around, and Suan has already seen several. But when those Pokemon found themselves noticed, they immediately disappeared into the rainforest. There is actually a tourist route in the secret area, but there are too many people on the tourist route, so you can't meet the secret area Pokemon at all. So Suan found a path by himself. Get some rest, Trapinch. Suan wiped the sweat from his forehead and then sat down on a thick tree root. There is still a gap between reality and scenes in anime. Suan took out a bottle of water and took a sip. Trapinch is quite adaptable to the surrounding environment. After all, it is a ground-type Pokemon. Its skin is so thick that even mosquitoes cannot penetrate it. Suan's original plan was to meet a wild Pokemon, then go up there and fight it, trying to complete the training mission within 3 days. Unexpectedly, those wild Pokemon had no intention of fighting Suan. This is also normal. If Pokemon in the wild fight, it is either to compete for territory or to hunt. Unless it's the group of militants from the fighting department. Otherwise, they wouldn't be willing to risk getting hurt by fighting. The sky around is already a little dark. Suan planned to have something to eat here with Trapinch and then go back. Suan took out a sandwich from the bag, and then poured some Pokemon food into Trapinch's bowl. It feels quite healing to calm down and simply enjoy the surrounding scenery if it is not for fighting or completing tasks. The evening sunlight is like wisps of fine sand, passing through the layers of leafage, and falling mottled on the dry leafage on the ground. From the back of a big tree, a Venonat leaned out and looked at Suan and Trapinch curiously. Looking upward, several Leddy-ball landed on the branches. They rested for a while, and then flew away together. Deep in the forest, several green figures can be seen shaking. That's Bellsprout looking for her food. Hucky! Trapinch suddenly shouted with a wary look on his face. What's wrong, Trapinch? Hucky! Trapinch tapped the ground with the sole of his forefoot. The earth in front of Trapinch surged with dirt. Suan stood up immediately. Pa Durant emerged from the ground. Race, Durant attribute, Insect/Steel level, 10 ability, Insect premonition individual value qualifications, HP, 10, Attack, 12, Defense, 14, Special Attack, 15, Special Defense, 13, Speed, 11, Skills, Sand Breaking, Fury Cutter, Vice Grip, Dig hereditary skills, none. Trapinch looked at Durant with a curious look. Hooja! Trapinch and Durant said hello. Durant glanced at Trapinch, then moved forward, hugged Trapinch's rice bowl, and then quickly retreated into the hole he dug. Trapinch tilted his head. Suan was also stunned for a moment and then looked at Trapinch and reminded, Trapinch, you are out of food. After Suan's reminder, Trapinch seemed to have just reacted and showed an angry expression. Hucky! Trapinch plunged into the hole dug by Durant. Few wind blew out of the cave. Trapinch was in the hole and used gust. Come on, Trapinch! Suan shouted from the entrance of the cave. Bang bang tackle sounds and biting sounds kept coming from the cave. Soon, there was no movement in the cave. Tip, your Trapinch defeated a Durant and experienced mission completion, 1/10, good job, Trapinch. Suan waved his fist happily. Hucka Trapinch climbed out in a hurry, then stood in front of Suan and stared at the cave entrance warily. Hoochie, hoochie! What's wrong, is there Durant down there? Suan asked looking at Trapinch. Kaka Durant ran out after Trapinch, with fierce eyes and a clicking sound between its teeth. Another one. Suan's eyes lit up slightly. Trapinch, can you still fight? Trapinch glanced at Suan and nodded firmly. But then, another Durant crawled out. 1v2 is a bit of a challenge, but it's also impossible to beat. Kaka from underneath the hole, a third Durant crawled out. Suan instantly understood why Trapinch was so nervous just now. This is a stab in Durant's nest. The fourth Durant has just appeared. Suan immediately ordered, Earth Power. Hucky! Trapinch stomped the ground violently, and the energy of the face element instantly destroyed the surrounding ground. The place where the Durants stood collapsed. Potholes are buried. Wang Durant fell down and let out an unpleasant screech. The other Durant used sand shake at where Trapinch was standing. Come back, Trapinch! Suan reacted quickly. When the ground just collapsed, Suan immediately used the Pokeball to retrieve the Trapinch, then picked up his bag and ran away. Slipping away. Pokemon in the wild won't fight you one-on-one. Suan looked back and saw that the Durants had not caught up. This made Suan feel slightly relieved. Come out, Trapinch! Suan released Trapinch again. Trapinch, how many Durants did you find down there? Trapinch pulled 7 small stones from the ground. Suan was a little moved. So, you know that there are so many Durants below, but you still want to fight in front of me. Hucka Trapinch waved his front palm, then puffed out his chest proudly. Trapinch said that he is very strong. Suan lifted Trapinch up and said with a smile, good boy. Then I will have to rely on your protection from now on. Trapinch nodded confidently. Let's go back to the camp for a meal. Hucky! Chapter 13. Sunny Shore Secret Place, the first campsite. When Suan came back, it was already dark. There is an area in the campground with many carts. All kinds of food are sold here, just like stalls in a night market. Of course, some people like to do it themselves, so they raise Courtney or turn on their own gas stove. Hey bro, how was the harvest? In the open space of the camp, Daramaka's trainer waved to Suan. He and his Daramaka are grilling meat. Most boys are like this. Once we were born, we were brothers the next time we met. Even if they don't even know each other's names. Suan walked over. It's a bit miserable. Nothing gained. I was almost surrounded by the Durants. Listening to Suan's words, Daramaka's trainer smiled. Normal. More than a month has passed since the distortion space, and the good things have long been taken away by those who have the strength. By the way, do you want to eat something together? Just when Suan was about to speak, Trapinch had already walked to Daramaka's side. Huja fiery red Daramaka enthusiastically gave Trapinch half of the meat he was eating. Suan agreed directly after seeing this scene. Then I'm welcome. My younger brother is a sophomore in college in Hangzhou, majoring in geology. This time I came to the secret land of Sunny Shore just to complete the homework assigned by the school. Sometimes I also train my own Pokémon skills. To him, training Pokémon and fighting Pokémon is like an ordinary person who needs to run and play ball occasionally. In fact, most people in this world are like this. If professional training is not the goal, a person can only raise 1 or 2 Pokémon at most. The Pokémon martial arts test in high school is a test to identify the talent of a trainer. Why? Are you a prospective college entrance examination student? At this time, the little brother already knew the purpose of Suan coming here for training. You came to the secret realm just after summer vacation, so you are really cruel to yourself. Suan looked at Trapinch who was already resting on the ground after eating. I love spending time with Pokémon, and this kid is also very enthusiastic about fighting. Because I'm doing what I like, so I'm not being cruel to myself. Suan said and smiled. After all, becoming a trainer has always been my dream. Now that there is such an opportunity, it is natural to seize it. The opportunity Suan refers to is his own rebirth. Of course I don't understand. The younger brother just thought that the opportunity Suan mentioned was the college entrance examination. Honestly, I've thought about becoming a trainer before. The younger brother expressed his understanding of Suan's words. Boys must all have a trainer dream of exploring the world with Pokémon and competing in the arena. However, I don't have any talent. When I took the college entrance examination, I didn't even get a qualifying spot in the school. The little brother thought for a while and suddenly said, by the way, you want to fight my Daramaka today, right? Right. When Suan heard this, he immediately became energetic. The younger brother smiled and said, how about we have a game now? Just think of it as exercise after meals. Daramaka immediately patted his chubby body, indicating that he was ready to fight. Hucky. Trapinch shook himself and stood up from the ground. This is a secret realm. If you want to fight, just find an open space. Suan and his brother stood on both sides of an open space and Trapinch and Daramaka stepped forward. At this time, there were many people walking around the camp. When they saw someone about to fight, they immediately gathered around and watched the excitement. You attack first. The younger brother gave in. Suan directly ordered, Trapinch, gust. Trapinch took a deep breath and puffed out. The strong wind swept towards Daramaka. In the open space, a large amount of dust and fallen leaves were blown towards soaring in the sky under the effect of gust. Daramaka, flame wheel. Daramaka's body was ignited with a large amount of flames. Wrapped in the flames, Daramaka passed through the strong wind and headed straight for Trapinch. Pull the sand. Trapinch's forefoot touched the ground, and then a large amount of mud and sand splashed onto Daramaka's body. Silt blocked Daramaka's view. This caused Daramaka to deviate from his offensive line and rush past Trapinch. Seize the opportunity, quick attack. Trapinch looked at Daramaka who rushed over and immediately launched an attack, the energy of his body gathering at his feet. Trapinch quickly rushed towards Daramaka. Pang! One hit. Daramaka flew directly up and then fell to the ground. The impact hit Daramaka so much that he couldn't get up. Tumbler. At this time, the little brother quickly went to check Daramaka's injury. Daramaka's injury was not serious. After being stunned for a few seconds, he gradually recovered. Fiery red. Daramaka was a little disappointed about losing the battle. It's okay. After all, you have worked very hard. The little brother doesn't really care that he lost. We lose. The younger brother looked at Suan and praised, I didn't expect you guys to be so good. Trapinch actually knows gust and quick attack, and your command is also great. Tip, you defeated Daramaka, challenge mission completion, 1/3, the task has made progress, and Suan is in a very good mood. In this way, Trapinch can learn Sandstorm only by defeating 2 trainers. Excellent. Suan said, we still have a lot to learn. The younger brother smiled and said, humble. With your strength, I guess there will be no problem at least qualifying for the school. The younger brother looked at the time and said, yeah, it's almost 7 o'clock. Let's go to the camp and get a seat. What's wrong? Suan looked curious. This camp will be discharged at 7 o'clock. There is no internet in the secret area, so this is basically the only way to have leisure and entertainment. At night, a curtain was erected in the open space of the camp. A projector with a very period feel is placed opposite. There were people selling snacks and drinks nearby. People and Pokémon were either sitting on small benches or lying on the ground looking up at the screen on the screen. This is a movie about the adventures of Trainer. In the movie, Trainer rides a motorcycle lizard chasing the Rapidash group on the vast grassland. Walk with Wailord on the mighty sea. Travel between Altaria and the steel-armored crow, migrate in the desert with Cacnea, and climb in the snow-capped mountains to search for traces of legends. What a desirable story, isn't it, Trapinch? Suan asked, looking at Trapinch lying next to him. Hoja. Chapter 14. The next day, Sunny Shore Secret Area, outside the first camp. Trapinch, there's still the last 100 meters, come on. Hucky, Hucky. Trapinch moved his short legs hard and ran towards the camp beside Suan. Through yesterday's exploration, Suan also had a general understanding of the situation in the secret realm. Pokémon in the secret realm will basically not initiate a battle unless necessary. Therefore, for Suan, the real difficulty in the experience tasks released by the system is to find wild Pokémon willing to fight Trapinch. Fortunately, the summer vacation is still long, and Suan is not in a hurry to complete the task so quickly. Suan plans to train Trapinch and gain experience at the same time. Suan will complete the current training with Trapinch. Human beings in this world are physically very strong, and can at least withstand some slight thunder shock or fire without any problem. Some powerful people can even compete with fighting Pokémon. Of course, such powerful people are as rare as psychics. Morning. In the camp, looking at Suan and Trapinch running back, the boy who was packing his things said hello to them. Fiery red Darumaka looks very energetic. Morning. Suan took a breath and then asked, what are you doing? This place has almost been surveyed. I want to go to the depths of the secret realm to have a look. The younger brother smiled and said, I'll go with the tour group later. Suan looked around and saw that there were quite a few people like the little brother packing their things. Some of them, like the little brother, plan to explore the depths of the secret realm, while others are preparing to leave the secret realm. Suan and his brother said a simple goodbye and walked towards the breakfast stall in the camp. The stall owner is a middle-aged uncle and Mr. Mime. Uncle, a portion of rice porridge and a basket of steamed buns. Okay, come right away. The uncle responded and then took out the rice porridge. Mr. Mime waved his hand, and the steamer basket and rice porridge flew into the air and landed on the small table where Suan was sitting. Suan took out Trapinch's food from the bag. Suan mixed Pokémon food and tree fruits together and served them in Trapinch's bowl. Trapinch immediately stepped forward and started eating. Trapinch, after eating, we will officially start training. Hoja. Trapinch waved his front foot confidently. Suan plans to let Trapinch practice skills in the morning. In the afternoon, we will conduct practical training and complete the experience tasks. The training method is very simple. Suan found an open space and inserted 10 wooden stakes within 10 meters. Trapinch stood 10 meters away. Trapinch, get ready. Suan shouted towards Trapinch. Hucky. Trapinch bowed his head. Run. Trapinch spread his legs and rushed forward, and soon the first wooden stake arrived. Quick attack. Trapinch quickly moved through the wooden piles. Pang. Trapinch hit a wooden post. Come on, keep going. Suan encouraged loudly. Trapinch shook his dizzy head, then continued walking through the wooden piles. After the stakes passed through, Suan quickly said, bite. Suan threw a puppet in his hand into the air. Hoja. Trapinch jumped up and bit the puppet. Snapped. Suan pressed the timer in his hand. The 10-meter sprint, the 10-meter circle, and the final bite. Trapinch took a total of 9.38 seconds. After all, this is the first training, so a slower pace is normal. Well, Trapinch, good job. Suan encouraged me and then said, after 3 minutes of rest, encore. Hucky. Trapinch is not afraid of challenges. After a morning of training, Trapinch's time improved to 7 seconds. Afternoon. Within Durant's territory. Trapinch, be ready to fight at any time. Trapinch nodded slightly inside the cave. Suan placed a piece of fragrant Pokémon tree fruit on the open ground. Wild Pokémon don't fight meaningless battles, so Suan will make them think that fighting is necessary. Obviously, food is what fighting wild Pokémon is all about. Soon, ground surged. A Durant crawled out of the ground with its head peeping out. When it was about to grab the fruit from the tree, Suan immediately said, "It's now, Gust." Trapinch took a deep breath and a strong wind blew towards Durant. Durant's body slid back. After he stabilized his body, Rage stared at Trapinch. Caca. Durant obviously thought Trapinch wanted to snatch his own food. Durant opened his sickle-like teeth and rushed towards Trapinch quickly. Trapinch, quick attack. The effects of training are showing. Trapinch ran quickly, swaying left and right around Durant, then opened his mouth and bit the side of Trapinch's body. Trapinch shook his big head and threw Durant away. One more time, quick attack. Pang. Tip, your Trapinch defeated a Durant and experienced mission completion, 2/10. Great. Suan was just about to celebrate with Trapinch when a yellow figure came speeding towards him in the dense forest. A Beedrill used Fury Attack on Trapinch. Hoja. The sudden attack left Trapinch unprepared to react and was hit directly. Trapinch, come back. Suan quickly took out the Pokeball and took Trapinch back. Cha-Cha Beedrill glanced at Suan, and then slowly picked up the tree fruit that Suan originally used to lure Durant. Race, Beedrill Attribute, Insect/Poison Level, 14 Ability, Insect Premonition Individual Value Qualifications, HP, 14, Attack, 18, Defense, 15, Special Attack, 19, Special Defense, 16, Speed, 20, Skills, Fury Attack, Bug Bite, Fury Cutter, Double Team. Hereditary skills, none. This guy can actually do double team. Suan was a little surprised. Akira the Pokeball in Suan's hand shook violently. Trapinch was suddenly beaten by Beedrill, obviously unconvinced. Trapinch is coming out retaliate. Suan looked at Trapinch's Pokeball and said, "Want to play, shake." Tip, trigger random tasks. The wild Beedrill is attacking you, please defeat it. Task reward, copy the skill once. What an unexpected surprise. Suan took a deep breath. Come out, Trapinch. Hoja. Trapinch rage roared towards Beedrill. Just. Beedrill held the fruit and looked back at Trapinch. Gust. Hucka just. Beedrill swayed his body flexibly and easily dodged this move. Chapter 15. Hucky. Trapinch stared closely at Beedrill in the sky. Beedrill put down the fruit, then used double team and rushed towards Trapinch. Beedrill is obviously not very proficient in this move, and can only separate two body parts. But even so, Trapinch was still a little overwhelmed. Calm down and use dig. Trapinch quickly hid in the hole. Beedrill stopped. Suan looked at Beedrill and frowned. Trapinch's only anti-air move is Gust, but Drill's skills are too fast and cannot hit unless Beedrill is used on the ground. In other words, find a way to pull Beedrill to the ground. After Suan thought for a while, an idea emerged. Trapinch, use Gust. Trapinch heard Suan's order, emerged from the hole in the ground, and used Gust towards Beedrill in the sky. Beedrill quickly dodged, and then used the Shadow Clone to rush towards Trapinch again. Trapinch, go on Gust. Drill's clones turned into smoke under the effect of Gust, and Drill's main body used Fury Attack on Trapinch. Hold on to the Trapinch, bite it, and then drag it into the hole. Suan shouted. Trapinch's physical defense talent is maxed out, so under Drill's continuous attacks, Trapinch really withstood Drill's continuous attacks. Hucky. Trapinch opened his mouth, bit Drill's shoulder, and then jumped into the hole he dug, completely ignoring Drill's attack on him. The two Pokémon fell into the hole together. Now, Earth Power. Hucky. A low roar came from the cave, and Suan could even feel his feet shaking violently. Under the cave. Beedrill was a little panicked after being dragged into the hole by Trapinch. Beedrill wanted to fly out immediately, but a large amount of soil fell directly from the hole above. The surrounding soil squeezed towards Beedrill, and under a sudden earthquake, Beedrill and Trapinch were submerged in the hole together. Tip: your Trapinch defeated a Beedrill, experience mission completion, 3/10. Tip: if you successfully defeat Beedrill, you can choose to copy the skill. Trapinch. Suan didn't have time to pay attention to the system's beep at this time, but called to ground. Hucky. The ground shook, and Trapinch crawled out panting. Hucky Trapinch immediately puffed up his chest as soon as he came out. Trapinch looked proud. Awesome, Trapinch. Suan happily picked up Trapinch from the ground. Hucky Trapinch stretched out his head affectionately and rubbed Suan's cheek. Precisely. In the forest, several growl calls were heard. Suan looked back and saw 7 or 8 Beedrills flying towards this side. It seems that now is not the time to celebrate. Suan immediately put Trapinch into the Pokeball, and then rode on the mountain bike placed beside it. Precisely. Beedrill was chasing after him quickly. Suan's feet stepped quickly and he rushed out along the path. This path leads directly to the sightseeing passage outside, and tourists who come to the secret place will take this path. On the road. We at Suni Shore are now 23 years old. A tour guide is introducing the environment of the Suni Shore secret place to a group of tourists. The tour guide said with a smile on his face, compared to other secret places, the environment of Suni Shore secret place is very friendly. As long as we follow the road signs and the main road and don't wander into the woods, there will be absolutely no problem with safety. The tour guide pointed to the dense forest on the edge. You absolutely can't go in a place like this. There is a group of Beedrill living in this area. It is the most dangerous place in the front area of the Suni Shore secret realm. Every year, people are attacked by Beedrill in this forest and sent to hospital. While the tour guide was talking, he heard shouting from inside. Get out of the way, get out of the way. Suan looked at the crowd in front of him, shouted loudly, and accelerated sharply. There is a bump on the ground. Suan's car assisted the raised area and instantly flew up. Suan flew over everyone's heads on an off-road vehicle, and then landed heavily on the ground. Swish! The car stopped with a sudden brake. The tour guide and tourists looked at Suan in astonishment. Just. The group of Beedrill stopped at the edge of the dense forest. They glanced at Suan and then turned around and flew back. Suan looked back at their departing figures and laughed. It's so exciting, you are very dangerous. The tour guide finally came to his senses and looked at Suan angrily. Sorry. Akira Trapinch's Pokeball shook, and then Trapinch ran out of the Pokeball and lay down in front of the mountain bike. Hucka, let's go back to the camp. Suan patted Trapinch's big head with one hand and rode towards the camp while holding on to the handlebars. I once dreamed of traveling to the end of the world with my sword. Look at the prosperity of the world. The relaxing and pleasant tunes dissipate to the surroundings with the wind blowing in the face. The boy was riding a bicycle, with Trapinch lying on the bicycle, and was slowly moving towards the goal. The tour guide sighed as he looked at Suan's leaving figure. That's really what I said. Wherever there is danger, there will definitely be a trainer. Chapter 16. Training, Fighting. This is what Suan and Trapinch did this week. A clearing in the woods. After Suan finished the morning training, he came to Durant's territory as planned to prepare for combat training. This week, due to Suan's continuous temptations, Durant seems to have learned his lesson and no longer goes out alone. Under the ground, 3 Durants poked their heads out at the same time. These guys have become smarter. Suan looked at the 3 Durants and muttered, then looked at the Trapinch beside him. Race, Trapinch attribute, ground level, 9, 277/1000, ability, Macamp Pliers individual value qualifications, HP, 31, attack, 31, defense, 31, special attack, 31, special defense, 30, speed, 31, skills, sand shaking, laser focus, dig, bite, gust, double team. Hereditary skills, quick attack, earth power. After a week of training and fighting, although Trapinch's level has not improved much, his skill proficiency has improved a lot. Hucka Trapinch looked at the 3 Durants in front of him eager to try. Obviously, Trapinch is not afraid at all. Suan looked at Trapinch's expression and smiled, in that case, get ready. Hucky. Trapinch rushed out and howled at Durant in a declaration of war. The 3 Durants looked at Trapinch at the same time. The battle is about to break out. Whoa, whoa. Wow. In the woods, the roar of Pokémon suddenly came from Growl. Suan, Trapinch, and around all looked towards the place where the sound came from. Houndour, don't let it get away, use smog. Puchina, let's go sideways. A tall and thin young man and a fat man shouted loudly while running. On the tree, a green figure wrapped vine whip around the tree pole in front of it and then pulled hard. Deny. This is a Snivy. The direction in which Snivy swung was exactly where Suan and Trapinch were. Suan glanced at Snivy's data subconsciously. Race, Snivy attribute grass level, 10, 224/1331 ability, to sing the opposite tune individual value qualifications, HP, 31, attack, 31, defense, 30, special attack, 31, special defense, 31, speed, 31, skills, tackle, leer, vine whip, wrap hereditary skills, grassy terrain, magical leaf Ico. Snivy who is almost 6V, but ability who is the devil's advocate. Suan was shocked. Stop it, help stop it. Behind Snivy, the tall and lanky man shouted loudly towards Sue and Tatsuno. Snivy's response was quick. Snivy hung one vine whip from the tree, and the other vine whip was directly wrapped around Trapinch. Hucky! Before Trapinch could react, Snivy used vine whip to roll him up and hit Houndour behind him. Pang! Trapinch collided with Houndour, who was running, and the two Pokémon rolled and fell to the ground. Holy shit! Are you sick? The tall and thin young man looked at this scene and cursed angrily. I asked you to stop Snivy, not my Houndour. Suan frowned. Friends, you have to understand one thing. It was you who suddenly broke into the battle venue between me and Durant. Durant. What's so good about this kind of rubbish Pokémon? Do you want to tame it? Do you want one if I give it to you? Suan looked at him coldly and said, do you know why Snivy ran away? Of course it's because they can't beat us. The tall and lanky young man said directly. Snivy is a very smart Pokémon, and they will even abandon useless trainers. Suan's taunting skills are fully activated. The reason why Snivy ran away when you were chasing her can only mean that it thinks you have no potential at all. The tall and thin young man suddenly became furious after hearing these words. Can you say that again? Wow! Houndour glared at Trapinch with bared teeth. Hucky! Trapinch opened his big mouth, looking like he was ready to take action at any time. You talk like you're great. The fat man came over and helped his friend. In this case, do you dare to fight with us? Suan briefly glanced at the data of the two Pokémon. Race, Houndour attribute, Evil/Fire level, 15 ability, Get Up Early skills, Leer, Ember, Smog, Howl, Takedown, Flame Charge Race, Puchina attribute, Evil level, 15 ability, Escape skills, Tackle, Howl, Bite, Dig. What, you don't dare! Suan glanced at the fat man who was speaking and said calmly, come on then. What are the rules? Wait a moment. At this moment, a voice came from outside the forest. Isn't it a bit too much for you two against one? The boy carrying the luggage came over with Daramaka. Fiery red Daramaka greeted Trapinch. Suan looked at the little brother in surprise. How did you come? The younger brother shrugged and put down the backpack he was carrying and said, I've settled my matter, and I was planning to go back. When I was passing by just now, I heard some noise here, so I came over to take a look. How about it, do you want to join me and play a doubles match with them? Suan glanced at the younger brother and Daramaka who was already standing next to Trapinch and smiled. Thank you, let's play doubles then. Suan looked at the tall and lanky young man and the fat man opposite and said, it's 2 versus 2 now. Then how about playing according to the rules of doubles? The tall and lanky young man and the fat man looked at each other and laughed at the same time. Okay, since you are looking for death, then I will help you. Tip, trigger the task. Task name, the first win of doubles, please defeat rival in the doubles battle. Task reward, secret treasure lucky egg. The Pokémon you carry can gain more experience points from battles and training. Suan's eyes lit up slightly when he looked at the reward of the mission. It seems that this battle cannot be won. As long as you get the lucky egg, Trapinch will definitely grow much faster. In the open space, Suan and his brother stood together. The tall and lanky young man and the fat man stood on the other side. Do you have any tactics? The younger brother looked at Suan and asked. Suan glanced at the two Pokémon opposite and thought for a moment, then said to the little brother, I have some ideas. Compared with tacit understanding, we will definitely not be able to compete with the opponent, so we must solve one quickly from the beginning. This is how we. On the big tree. Tana Snivy, who had run away, circled back. Snivy is sitting on a tree holding a fruit. Awu Snivy took a bite and looked at the battle below. Chapter 17. Trapinch, Quick Attack. Daramaka, Flame Wheel. At the beginning of the battle, Trapinch and Daramaka attacked Puchayana at the same time. The fat man curled his lips, use me as a breakthrough. Who are you looking down on? Puchayana, dig. The tall and thin man said quickly, Houndour, howl. Houndour took a deep breath. Ouch. Houndour's own power was enhanced under the effect of howl. The younger brother glanced at Suan in surprise. It's pretty much what you expected. This Puchayana really knows how to dig. Suan smiled. This is basically stable. Trapinch, earth power. Hucky. Trapinch stepped heavily on the ground, causing the ground to shake. The hole Puchayana had just dug collapsed instantly. FK. This Trapinch can actually do this. The tall and thin man and the fat man screamed at the same time. The fat man was a little anxious. Puchayana, come out quickly. The tall and thin man shouted quickly, Houndour, rush over. Flame charge. Wow. Houndour immediately rushed towards Trapinch and Daramaka, trying to buy Puchayana time to escape. The little brother ordered, stop it, flame wheel. Fiery red Daramaka's body burst into flames. Pang. Two fire-type Pokémon with their bodies burning with flames faced each other and collided. Ground. Puchayana was in a state of embarrassment, panting and showing her head. Suan smiled slightly, encore, earth power. Hucky. Trapinch stepped on the ground again. Boom Puchayana, who was finally dug out of the ground, was buried again. Puchayana. This time, there was no movement underground. Obviously, 2 consecutive rounds of earth power completely disabled Puchayana's ability to fight. Tip, Trapinch defeated Puchayana, you defeated a trainer in the secret realm, challenge mission completion, 2/3, pretty. The little brother looked at this scene and waved his fist. But then again, how do you know Puchayana can dig? The younger brother looked at Suan curiously and asked. It's very simple. Suan Salation found a reason. That Puchayana has a lot of mud on its fur, so I guess it can dig. If we let Trapinch and Daramaka attack Puchayana at the same time, and if we want to completely avoid our joint attack, the probability of using dig will be very high. The little brother gave a thumbs up after listening to Suan's explanation. Sharp. The tall and thin man looked at the fat man irritably, are you too fooled? The fat man was speechless. Who would have thought that this Trapinch could also have earth power? Hucky fiery red Trapinch and Daramaka looked at Houndour at the same time. The tall and thin man looked at the 2 Pokémon and felt stressed at this time. How? You want 2 against 1? Suan glanced at him and said, don't worry. I'll give you a chance to fight. After Suan finished speaking, he looked at the younger brother. The younger brother shrugged. No problem. You are the coach, you have the final say. The tall and thin man looked at Suan who looked like he was looking down on him, and suddenly he looked unhappy again, don't look down on me. Houndour, flame charge. Ouch. Houndour's body, enveloped in flames, crashed into Trapinch at high speed. Trapinch, double team. Hucky a large number of clones immediately formed around Trapinch's body. Houndour, a smackdown empty. These clones surrounded Houndour who rushed over. The tall and lanky man scratched his hair hard, Houndour, find the real Trapinch quickly. Sniff sniff surrounded by Trapinch's clones, Houndour stretched out his nose. Suan looked at this scene and said calmly, we don't intend to let you find it slowly. Trapinch, gust. Pang. Houndour was thrown away by Trapinch's gust and fell to the ground. Earth power. Hucky. It's earth power, it's double team, it's gust who also knows flying skills. The fat man looked at this scene and muttered, it seems that this Trapinch is of a very high level. It's so unlucky that I hit the iron plate. Houndour was unable to find the real Trapinch among the clones, so he naturally became Trapinch's target. Soon, Houndour was incapacitated by Trapinch's attack. Tip, Trapinch defeated Houndour, and you successfully defeated 3 trainers in the secret realm. You have obtained the secret skill, Sandstorm. Hint, you won the doubles match. You have obtained the secret treasure. Lucky egg. In this battle, Suan not only obtained the lucky egg, but also completed the challenge task. Let Trapinch learn. Suan couldn't wait to let Trapinch learn Sandstorm first. I'm really convinced. Although the tall and lanky guy lost the game, he still had a tough mouth. You have such strength, why are you fighting Durant? Even if you want to practice, you should go deep into the secret realm. When the tall and lanky young man wanted to say something else, 3 vine whips fell from the tree. Snivy used vine whip to hang the lanky young man, the fat man and the houndour in the tree. Tana apparently, this Snivy is a bit vindictive. Here we go, it's Snivy. Fatty exclaimed. He shook his body vigorously, but the vines on his body tied him tightly. Don't just watch, help put us down. The tall and thin man shouted eagerly, that's Snivy. Hucka Trapinch glanced at Snivy, then dug in the ground. Trapinch dug Puchayana out of the ground and pushed her towards Snivy. Tana Snivy glanced at Trapinch, then used a vine whip to hang Puchayana up as well. The little brother looked at this scene with joy. Your Trapinch is quite sinister. Suan also laughed. This guy. Tatsuno. Snivy took a deep look at Suan and Trapinch, turned around, and quickly jumped towards the forest. Aren't you going to chase me? The younger brother looked at Suan and asked. Suan looked at the direction Snivy left and shook his head slightly. Never mind. If we are really destined, we will definitely meet again. Snivy's speed is too fast, and Trapinch obviously can't catch up. 2. The little brother glanced at Suan and then smiled and said, then I wish you and Snivy can have a fate. Okay, I'm leaving. What about you, what are your plans? Trapinch has just learned Sandstorm, so Suan naturally wants Trapinch to experience the power of Sandstorm in actual combat. I plan to continue to hone Trapinch's fighting skills. Understood. The little brother put his backpack back on his back. Then I'll leave first. If you have a chance, come visit me in Hangzhou. Must. After Suan said goodbye to her brother, she took Trapinch and walked deeper into the woods. Wait a minute, put us down. The fat man and the tall and lanky young man suddenly became anxious when they saw Suan and the little brother leaving. I'll go and take care of us, you 2 bastards. Elder brother. We were wrong, brother. Don't do it. Put us down. 4 figures are swinging in midair like normal swings. Chapter 18. Beedrill territory. Precisely. 3 Beedrill are patrolling the area. Are you ready, Trapinch? Suan looked at Trapinch beside him. There is a lucky egg hanging under Trapinch's neck. Hucky. Okay, come on. Trapinch used dig on the spot. Among the 3 Beedrills, Trapinch showed his head. Hucky. Trapinch climbed out of the ground and shouted towards the Beedrills. Just. All 3 Beedrills immediately looked at Trapinch, and then rushed towards Trapinch at the same time. Hucky. Trapinch took a deep breath, and yellow sand gathered around Trapinch's body. Wow! Just for a moment, the sparse yellow sand suddenly spread out, raging around like a twister normal. All 3 Beedrills were caught in the middle by Sandstorm. Just. In Sandstorm, these 3 Beedrills were obviously a little confused about their direction. Where has Beedrill, who lives in the woods, seen the scene of Sandstorm? They flew around in a panic, and 2 Beedrills even collided with each other. The gravel hit them, making them look painful. Trapinch used gust towards Beedrill who collided with each other. Pang! The 2 Beedrills fell to the ground together. Hucka Trapinch roared excitedly and stepped hard on the ground. Earth power. Rumble tip, your Trapinch defeated a Beedrill and gained experience points, 221. Experience mission completion, 9/10. Tip, your Trapinch defeated a Beedrill, gained 285 experience points and experienced mission completion, 10/10. Tip, the experience mission is completed, and you have obtained experience candy S*3. Outside Sandstorm. Suan also couldn't see clearly what was going on in Sandstorm, and could only vaguely see Trapinch and Beedrill. However, the good news brought by the system prompts made Suan feel relieved. In reality, the effects shown by Sandstorm are much more exaggerated than in the game. The center of Sandstorm. Trapinch looked at the last Beedrill, which was scurrying around like a headless fly. He jumped up, then opened his mouth and bit its wings, smashing it to the ground. Tip, your Trapinch defeated a Beedrill and gained 220 experience points. Tip, Trapinch's level has been upgraded to level 10, 3/1295, it's truly a secret treasure. Suan exclaimed. Trapinch only leveled up after a week of hard training and fighting, but under the effect of Blissey. Trapinch only defeated 3 Beedrills before reaching another level. Sandstorm's power gradually weakens. The yellow sand flying all over the sky slowly dissipated. Suan looked at the time. 1 minute and 11 seconds. This is how long the sandstorm currently used by Trapinch lasts. Hukka Trapinch happily ran towards Suan touched Trapinch's head and said with a smile, "Awesome, Trapinch. This is your reward." Suan said and gave all the experience candies to Trapinch to eat. Tip: Trapinch used the experience candies to gain a small amount of experience points, and Trapinch reached level 15, 211/2514. Tip: Trapinch used the experience candies to gain a small amount of experience points, and Trapinch reached level 16, 2120/4210. Tip: Trapinch used the experience candies to gain a small amount of experience points, and Trapinch reached level 17, 213/4810. Tip: Your Trapinch automatically learns a new skill, Mud Slap. Tip: Your Trapinch automatically learned a new skill, Sand Tomb. The experience points required to upgrade Trapinch from level 15 to level 16 have been doubled. If it's a Pokémon like the Yuzan family, it's time to evolve at this time. However, the higher the difficulty of evolution, the greater the change in Trapinch's strength after evolution. Race: Trapinch Attribute, Ground Level, 17, 213/4810. Ability: Macamplier's Individual Value Qualifications, HP, 31, Attack, 31, Defense, 31, Special Attack, 31, Special Defense, 30, Speed, 31, Skills, Sand Shaking, Laser Focus, Dig, Bite, Gust, Double Team, Mud Slap, Sand Tomb. Hereditary Skills, Quick Attack, Earth Power. Suan looked at Trapinch's current data and smiled happily. In this way, the goal of the first stage is completed, and now we have to get the treasure chest. In addition, with the current strength of Trapinch, I won't have to live in the campground all the time. Trapinch's level is already the highest in the entire Sunny Shore Secret Realm in the first half, except for Beedrill, who was only level 18. Coupled with Trapinch's current skill pool and strong individual value, even if he encounters a level 20 Pokémon, he will definitely be worthy of it and can completely protect Suan's safety. Suan took out the secret map. After passing through Beedrill's territory, you will find the second camp in the secret area. Starting from the second camp, if you ride on the main road, you can reach the location of the treasure chest in half a day. But there is still a gap in strength between the current Trapinch and the level 30 Arbok. Suan thought for a while and decided to hike through the secret realm. Suan plans to train Trapinch while heading towards the location of the treasure chest. Trapinch is now equipped with a lucky egg. After training and fighting along the way, when Trapinch arrives at the location of the treasure chest, the level should not be much worse than Arbok. In addition, during this process, Suan plans to search for traces of Snivy. Suan is not going to miss Snivy, who is accurate to the 6th level. Trapinch, let's go. Suan said to Trapinch beside him, go back to the camp to pack your things, and then go to the second camp. Hooja Trapinch shook his big head and walked slowly beside Suan and the others had just left, in the leafage of a big tree. Snivy showed his figure. Snivy quietly looked at the direction Suan and Trapinch were leaving. Chapter 19. Sunny Shore Secret Place, July 17. Time flies. Suan and Trapinch have been in the secret territory for more than half a month. A place by the river. Trapinch, get ready. Hucky. The starting point is 20 meters away. Suan shouted, start. Trapinch started to run up, and then quickly used quick attack. Trapinch's body moved flexibly among the wooden piles. Now, bite. Hucky. Trapinch jumped up and bit the wood thrown by Suan snapped. Suan looked at the time on the timer, 2.98 seconds. Nice. Suan looked at this new record and said happily to Trapinch, it's within 3 seconds, Trapinch. Compared to Trapinch half a month ago, the current Trapinch's strength has undergone qualitative changes. Hukka Trapinch smiled innocently. The distance will be lengthened to 50 meters next. We will strive to run within 3 seconds at 50 meters. Hukka Trapinch waved his front foot confidently. Tip: Trapinch gained 282 experience points during training. Tip: Trapinch has reached level 19, 10/7112, with Blissey, Trapinch has obviously grown much faster. Suan looked at the time, it was already 4:30. Trapinch, what do you want for dinner? Trapinch tilted his head and thought seriously. Hucka hucka. Trapinch pointed to the stream beside it. Want to eat fish? No problem. Suan smiled and then took out his exquisite fishing rod from the bag. In addition to Pokémon, this world also has ordinary fish and animals. Some scholars who study aquatic life have discovered that carnivorous water Pokémon will be selective when preying on ordinary fish. Pregnant women should not eat it, and growing up fish should not eat it. If they encounter migratory and breeding fish, they will also take the initiative to escort them. There are even news reports that a group of Gyarados from the deep sea were provoked by the construction of a road in a certain region that hindered the migration of fish. Mythology scholars believe that the mediator of all this has a deep relationship with the legendary Manaphy. In the river, Suan's float suddenly sank. Coming! Suan quickly pulled the lever. Akira, a huge base was pulled out of the water. Trapinch! Hucka. Trapinch walked excitedly on the shore, and then he saw a lump of mud condensing in front of Trapinch. Call out! Trapinch uses mud slap on base. Accurate hit. The base was hit by Trapinch's mud slap and fainted instantly. Suan dragged the base ashore. This base weighs about 8 pounds. The fish head can be used to make soup, and the fish body is used to grill. Suan used a knife to remove scales and internal organs by the river. After rinsing, put on a flour knife, sprinkle with seasonings and start marinating. While Suan was handling the base, Trapinch ran to the nearby woods to pick up wood. Soon there was a pile of wood in the clearing. Set up the stove, prepare the fish heads, add water and simmer. Wrap the fish body in tin foil and place it on the wire mesh to grill. Hucka. Trapinch looked at the fish Suan was cooking and drooled from the corner of his mouth. Don't worry. Suan rubbed Trapinch's head, just wait patiently for a while. Hucka. Trapinch looked down at his belly. Trapinch is hungry. Rustle. At this moment, there was movement in the grass. A green Pokémon stepped out. This is Snivy. Tana. Snivy rolled a tree fruit in Vine Whip and brought it to Trapinch's mouth. Trapinch glanced at Snivy and then opened his mouth. Awu. Suan looked at Snivy and smiled. Good afternoon, Snivy. Tana. Snivy responded with a tree fruit in her little hand. Snivy seemed to be interested in Suan and Trapinch since their last meeting. Snivy can often be seen when Suan and Trapinch are training and fighting. At first, Snivy just watched from afar. A few days later, Snivy gradually lowered his guard after discovering that Suan did not immediately fight him as soon as he saw him. Fish head soup and grilled fish still need time. Suan plans to catch another fish for a midnight snack. Suan sat by the river and hung bait. After Trapinch finished eating the fruit given by Snivy, he stood next to the grilled fish. Trapinch needs to be careful not to have his food stolen by other wild Pokémon that smell the scent. Deny. Snivy walked to Suan's side and looked curiously at Suan who was hanging the bait. Suan glanced at Snivy and joked, I said, Snivy, haven't I passed your review yet? Trainer will choose the Pokémon he likes. In the wild, some smart Pokémon will also choose trainers they recognize. One representative is Snivy. After Suan discovered that Snivy had been following him near him, he understood Snivy's thoughts, so he was not in a hurry to conquer the battle. Deny. Snivy took a bite of the fruit in his hand and did not answer immediately. So strict, Snivy. Suan said with a relaxed expression, throwing the pole towards the river. Snivy looked at Suan's movements and thought for a moment, then tied the half-eaten fruit with vine whip. Plop. Snivy sat next to Suan and started fishing with berries hung on a vine whip. Suan watched Snivy's movements with interest. Snivy, do you want to compare? Snivy's eyes became sharp when he heard Suan's words. Tatsuno. How about we compete with who can catch the fish first? Dana. Snivy nodded and agreed. Suan felt that he was sure to win. Suan doesn't think Vine Whip can catch fish with tree fruits tied around it. After all, Vine Whip doesn't have a fish hook. Tana. Snivy stared closely at the water, and soon a base appeared in Snivy's sight. Tana. Snivy suddenly called out to Suan, what's wrong? Suan asked doubtfully. Deny. Snivy's expression at this moment seems to be saying, look, I will only teach you once. Underwater, Vine Whip, which was originally floating along the current, suddenly straightened up and swatted at the fish. Snapped. This fish was knocked unconscious. Tana the vine whip entangled the base, and then Snivy pulled it and the base landed. Everyone in Suwon was dumbfounded. This is not fishing, this is obviously fish frying. Dana Snivy looked at Suwon proudly. Snivy, this doesn't count as fishing. Snivy poked the fish with vine whip. Suwon looked confused, although the fish are coming up, but... Alright, you win. While Suwon was talking, Suwon suddenly felt the fishing rod in his hand being pulled. Suwon stood up immediately. Look, Snivy, this is fishing. Wake it up for me. Suwon said and raised it fiercely. There was a strong resistance from underwater. Suwon's face froze. Oops, this power. The next second. Suwon's body flew into the air and splashed. Plop, holy shit, Gudoduo Suwon was dragged into the river. Dana. Hucky. Trapinch, who was lying next to the stove, suddenly became anxious when he saw Suwon being dragged into the river. Trapinch stood up suddenly and ran towards the river with an anxious look on his face. Hucky. Trapinch rushed into the river without hesitation. Chapter 20. The bottom of the river. Chiang. Corfish's pliers gripped the fishing line tightly. Tip, publish tasks. Task name, the dignity of the fisherman. Task requirement, pull Corfish to the shore and defeat it. Task reward, experience candy M, can increase experience points for Pokémon. Suwon listened to the system prompts and before making a decision, a vine whip was wrapped around Suwon's waist. Suwon immediately loosened the fishing line first. Ashore. Snivy used vine whip to pull Suwon to the shore. In the river. Trapinch jumped into the river and suddenly became confused. Hilyalu. Trapinch can't swim. Deny. Snivy looked at this scene and shook his head, then branched out another vine whip and pulled Trapinch. Suwon and Trapinch, who were all wet, were pulled to the shore by Snivy at the same time. Trapinch. Suwon looked at Trapinch spitting out water and threw the fishing rod in his hand towards Snivy. Snivy hugged subconsciously. Trapinch, are you okay? Suwon gently patted Trapinch on the back. Hucky. Trapinch spat out the water, his face looking much better. Suwon breathed a sigh of relief and laughed. You idiot! Deny, waterside. Snivy, who was holding the fishing rod, was almost dragged down, so he called out to Suwon anxiously. Snivy can no longer hold the fishing rod in his hand. Okay, Trapinch, let's go retaliate. Suwon stood up and grabbed the fishing rod. Trapinch open mouth bite bottom of the rod. Snivy, Trapinch, listen to my command and let's work together. Suwon said loudly. 1,2, pull. Tana Snivy raised his body backwards, his green face turning red. Hucky. Trapinch bit the fishing rod and pulled hard back. Rise. Wow on the water. With the combined efforts of Suwon, Trapinch, and Snivy, Corfish was pulled straight out and landed on the shore. Hucky Trapinch opened his mouth. Deny. Snivy breathed a sigh of relief. Chiang. After Corfish landed, he looked around and immediately noticed the grilled fish. Chiang. Corfish quickly ran towards the grilled fish. Hucky. Trapinch suddenly became anxious and stopped in front of Corfish. Hucky. Corfish looked at Trapinch standing in front of him and stopped. Chiang. Corfish narrowed his eyes. This Corfish's level is 17, and its ability is hard shell armor. Chiang. Corfish aimed its large pliers at Trapinch. Water gun. A stream of water shot directly at the Trapinch. Corfish took the lead in attacking. Trapinch, quick attack. Hucky. Trapinch dodged the water gun's attack and quickly crashed towards Corfish. Chiang. Corfish held the large pliers in front of him and encouraged himself with all his strength. Corfish used harden. Pang. Trapinch bumped into Corfish. Corfish's body slid backwards, but he was not seriously hurt. Chiang. Corfish used bubble beam. Call. Countless bubbles were shot at Trapinch. Quicksand abyss. Hucky. Trapinch stepped on the ground, and Corfish's feet suddenly collapsed. The ground is like quicksand. Normal begins to surge. Under the sudden force, Corfish's large pincers were thrown upwards and deviated from the attack trajectory. Although the bubble beam did not hit Trapinch, it hit Sue and Snivy took a step forward. Green leafage surrounds Snivy's body. Hupang magical leaf's shot will intercept all the bubble beam hitting Sue and thank you, Snivy. Sue thanked Snivy, and then looked at Trapinch to order. End it, Earth Power. Huckaboom tip, Trapinch defeated a Corphish and gained 322 experience points. The mission is completed, and you will receive experience candy M. Win. Tatsuno. Snivy looked at the victorious Trapinch and relaxed his nervousness. Thank you for your hard work, Trapinch. Sue took out the experience candy directly and fed it to Trapinch. Tip, Trapinch took the experience candy M, and Trapinch rose to level 22, 1231/11020. Tip, Trapinch has learned a new skill Bulldoze. Gilyalo the fish soup begins to bubble. Sue quickly walked over and opened the lid of the pot, and the aroma came out instantly. Although Trapinch can feel that he seems to have learned a new skill, Trapinch feels that eating is more important. Sue looked at Trapinch with an expectant look on his face, but did not let Trapinch try the Bulldoze effect. Let's eat. Sue first served a bowl to Trapinch, then looked at Snivy and asked, Want a bowl, Snivy? Snivy looked hesitant. Sue directly poured a bowl for Snivy and said with a smile, You're welcome, just take it as a thank you. Snivy glanced at Sue and took it with Vine Whip. Sue opened the grilled fish again. Smelling the aroma of meat, Trapinch, who was happily drinking fish soup, immediately raised his head. Snivy doesn't have much of a problem with carnivorous covet. After all, it's a grass-type Pokémon, and most of the time it still likes to eat tree fruits. Chiong chiong. The knocked-out Corphish woke up at this time and looked pitifully at Trapinch who was eating grilled fish. Hucky. Trapinch looked at Corphish with some confusion. Hoja. Trapinch sighed, biting half of the meat and giving it to Corphish. Chiong chiong. Corphish immediately slipped back into the river with the fish in his arms with a happy expression on his face. It seems that my cooking skills are pretty good. Sue looked at this scene and smiled. Hoja. Trapinch looked a little reluctant as he looked in the direction Corphish was leaving. That's amazing, Trapinch. Sue praised Trapinch's sharing, and then picked up the fish that was stunned by Snivy. We'll just bake another one. Hoja. Snivy planned to leave at this time. Wait a minute, Snivy. Sue stopped Snivy who was about to leave. It's almost dark, just stay here tonight. Strike while the iron is hot. Today, the relationship between Sue and Snivy has obviously improved, and Sue does not want to miss this opportunity. Sue looked at Snivy with a smile and said, Don't worry, it's just one night's sleep. I won't forcefully subdue you. And you haven't eaten enough, have you? Sue took out the fruit from his backpack and said, We can watch a movie together later. It'll be fun. Snivy was a little moved when she saw the fruit that Sue took out. Hucka. Trapinch also invited Snivy. Deny. Snivy agreed. Night falls slowly. The trees are intertwined, moonlight shines through the gaps and casts a little starlight, and in the distance there is the growl of nocturnal Pokémon. In the camp, in Courtney, the burning wood made a slight clicking sound from time to time. An old movie is playing on Sue-Ann's mobile phone. This is what Sue-Ann asked Rotom to download in advance when he was outside. Trapinch lay down next to Courtney and hit yawn. In front of Trapinch was a plate with only fish bones left. There was a gentle touch. Sue-Ann looked sideways. Snivy fell asleep leaning on Sue-Ann's lap. Sue-Ann looked at the sleeping Snivy and smiled softly, then turned off the phone. Sue-Ann gently held up Snivy's body with her palms and walked towards the tent. Chapter 21. Early next morning. Snivy slowly opened his eyes. Tatsuno. Snivy looked at the narrow space around him, panicked in his heart, and subconsciously used Vine Whip, but soon Snivy noticed Sue-Ann's sleeping face. Snivy took the Vine Whip back. Snivy remembered. Last night, Snivy was watching a movie with Sue-Ann, but she fell asleep without knowing when. Sue-Ann's eyes moved slightly. Snivy immediately took a step back. Sue-Ann opened her eyes and looked at Snivy with a smile. Morning, Snivy. Tana. Sue-Ann got up from the sleeping bag and opened the tent. Soaring in the sky is slightly bright. Life in a secret realm has made Sue-Ann's biological clock very regular. Hucka. Trapinch hit yawn and stood up from the ground. Good morning, Trapinch. Hucka. Sue-Ann looked at everything around him and took a deep breath. The forest exudes a fresh scent in the early morning, the leaves are swaying in the breeze, and several butterflies can be seen dancing in the distance to welcome the sunrise. The wet grass was covered with dew and shimmered. An Oddish looked around, then buried his body. A new day has begun. Hucky! Trapinch jumped nimbly on the tree stump Su-un built with wood. Trapinch is training the body's balance. Between two trees. Thanks, Snivy. Tana Snivy wrapped vine whip between two trees and helped Su-un make a horizontal bar. Su-un pulled the vine whip with his hand. The vine whip was very hard. Su-un started doing pull ups. As a trainer, if you don't have a strong body, you won't be able to adapt to the wild environment. Su-un asked while pulling pull ups, Snivy, how do you usually train? Snivy listened to Su-un's question, looked around, and then used vine whip to lift a big stone. Pang! Vine whip rolled up the boulder and threw it forward. Hey, that's awesome! It's a great idea to increase the speed and strength of vine whip by carrying weights. Su-un said, letting go of vine whip's hand. Tana Snivy's praise for Su-un is very useful. Boom peng! A violent explosion suddenly sounded in the woods not far away. Hucky! The explosion startled Trapinch. Trapinch lost his balance and fell straight off the stake. Su-un looked towards the direction of the explosion. Sparrow a Firo flew up. Firo's body was rapidly spinning and soaring in the sky, and then he rushed towards the ground. Drill run! This Firo is level 23. Su-un saw it at Suni Shore Pier. It seems very lively over there. Su-un became interested. A clearing in the woods. Chen Ting, is Zhao Ziyi okay? Shen Yu held a fainted Cinchino and looked at Firo flying and soaring in the sky with a little worry. Chen Ting said confidently, don't worry, Zhao Ziyi's Zangoose belongs to his father. It is very strong and there will be no problem. Firo, drill run. Firo, who was flying in the air, used drill run on Zangoose. Meow. Zangoose lowered his body and was about to use quick attack to avoid this skill before attacking again. Behind Zangoose, a young boy shouted loudly. Zangoose uses Rock Tomb directly. The instructions behind him made Zangoose's body stiffen just as he was about to pounce. During a battle, if the Pokémon's ideas are different from the trainer's instructions, it will definitely be fatal. The result was that Zangoose didn't react at all and was hit directly. Zangoose! Zhao Ziyi exclaimed and quickly ran to Zangoose's side. Zangoose, are you okay? Zangoose tried hard to stand up again, but stumbled and fell to the ground again. Zhao Ziyi quickly helped Zangoose up and complained, why didn't you use Rock Tomb just now? Firo just rushed down like that. He was a target. Mongoose! Zangoose called out apologetically. Firo folded his wings and stood beside his trainer. Well done, Firo. After speaking, Firo's trainer looked at the three people opposite him and said with a smile, okay, I won the battle. Hurry up and hand over that Cinchino. When Zhao Ziyi heard this, he looked at Shen Yu and Chen Ting behind him awkwardly, I'm sorry. Chen Ting looked at the trainer opposite and said angrily, don't go too far. We obviously found that Cinchino first. Firo's trainer shrugged, but you didn't defeat it, you almost got run away by it, didn't you? Fart. Zhao Ziyi said angrily, with my Zangoose watching, how could it escape? Ah! Firo's trainer sneered mockingly. Your Zangoose has already lost, so why can't it run away? Zhao Ziyi was immediately speechless. Okay, stop talking nonsense and give me that Cinchino quickly. Or are you planning to snatch my Pokémon? When Chen Ting heard this, her face turned red with anger, stomping tantrum said, you are shameless, Russell. There was a slight noise in the bushes. Huckatrapinch ran out. Huckatrapinch still knew Shen Yu and Chen Ting and waved to them. Trapinch! Shen Yu's eyes lit up slightly. Hello, Trapinch, is Su-un with you too? Trapinch nodded and looked behind him. Su-un pushed aside a branch blocking him and walked out. What a coincidence, everyone! Firo's trainer felt nervous when he saw another person coming, but he was relieved when he noticed that the person who came also looked like a high school student. What happened? Su-un said and looked at Cinchino in Shen Yu's arms with confusion. Is this Cinchino? Chen Ting looked at Su-un and immediately said angrily, we discovered this Cinchino first. We originally planned to defeat it with our Pokémon together and then let it choose its own master. We almost caught it, but then the guy suddenly attacked Cinchino with Firo. If Zhao Ziyi's Zangoose hadn't stopped him, this Cinchino would have been snatched away. Race, Cinchino attribute normal level, 7 ability, attract body individual value qualifications, HP, 18, attack, 20, defense, 15, special attack, 16, special defense, 18, speed, 25, skills, tickle, swift, sing, tail slap, help hereditary skills, none. Cinchino evolved from Minccino using the shiny stone. The level of this Cinchino is not high. It seems that it evolved after accidentally encountering the shiny stone. The market price of evolution stones is basically over 1 million. Even if the individual value is not considered, the value of this Cinchino has already exceeded 1 million. It's no wonder this leads to contention. Firo's trainer was very impatient at this time. He wasn't going to say anything more. Firo, bring Cinchino back to me. Sparrow Firo flapped his wings and flew towards Shen Yu. Tip, trigger the battle mission requirement, defeat Firo's trainer task reward, 100,000 Pokémon coins, copy the skill once. Suan glanced at Firo who flew over, Trapinch. Hucky. Trapinch lowered his body slightly to block Shen Yu's face. Suan, no. Shen Yu shook her head and said with concern, this Firo is very powerful, your Trapinch will be injured. Zhao Ziyi followed, that is to say, my father has never had Zangoose. Don't let Trapinch deliver it. We still. Hucky. Trapinch violently splashed towards Firo who was flying towards him. Quick attack. Chapter 22. Pang. Bird. Firo was knocked down from the sky by Trapinch with a growl of pain. After Firo rolled twice on the ground, he quickly flew up again and distanced himself from Trapinch. Stare. Shen Yu and Zhao Ziyi all looked at Suan in an instant, with expressions of astonishment on their faces. FK. Zhao Ziyi looked at Suan's Trapinch in disbelief. At this time, Zhao Ziyi suddenly remembered Zangoose's previous actions. Zhao Ziyi lowered his head and looked at Zangoose beside him. You actually wanted to use quick attack just now, right? Zangoose nodded slightly. Zhao Ziyi suddenly said awkwardly, that's it. I'm sorry, Zangoose. Race, Firo attribute normal / flying level, 23 ability, sharp eyes skills, drill run, pluck, fury attack, wing attack, aerial ace, defog. There are no skills suitable for Trapinch in Firo's skill panel, but aerial ace and defog can be learned by Snivy. Snivy was sitting on a big tree at the back, looking at Suan and the others. Firo's trainer looked at Suan irritably. Hey, that guy just said that if Zangoose loses, he will give up Cinchino. This is not over for you, is it? Zhao Ziyi saw that Suan seemed to be very strong, and he became tough when he spoke. I gave up. But I didn't say they gave up either. Firo glared at Zhao Ziyi, are you kidding me? Chen Ting immediately said, who wants to play with you? It's obvious that you want to steal our Cinchino. Rob. Firo's trainer argued, so what if you discovered it first? You haven't conquered it. Since it doesn't exist, then naturally everyone has the right to conquer it. In the wild, trainers often quarrel over the fate of a Pokémon. This kind of thing all has its own reason. Kino. At this time, Cinchino woke up. Kino. Cinchino yelled in panic. Shen Yu looked at Cinchino who woke up and breathed a sigh of relief. Are you okay, Cinchino? Cinchino opened his eyes and looked around, and soon noticed Firo, who was looking fiercely. Kino. Cinchino showed a scared look, and immediately crawled along Shen Yu's body, to the back of Shen Yu's neck, and then hid in Shen Yu's hair. Shen Yu could feel Cinchino trembling on her neck. Cinchino was knocked unconscious by Firo who suddenly appeared, so he was naturally afraid of Firo. Suan looked at this scene and said to Firo's trainer, it seems there is no need to argue, Cinchino made his own choice. What a joke! Firo's trainer said angrily, kill it, aerial ace. Bird. Firo let out a long roar and flew around Trapinch at high speed. Double team. Hucky. In the air, more than a dozen Trapinch raised their heads at the same time and looked at the flying Firo. Firo, use defog. Suan quickly stepped on the ground lightly. Trapinch's main body used dig under the cover of the clone. Through these days of fighting, the cooperation between Suan and Trapinch has become more and more tacit. Many times, Trapinch can understand Suan's thoughts with just a simple body movement. Sparrow Firo flapped his wings, strong wind blew, and Trapinch's clones were blown away one by one. This move of clearing the dense fog can even blow away defensive moves such as Light Screen, Mist, and Aurora Veil on the field, which is very practical. After the strong wind passed, a Trapinch crawled out from the hole in the ground. Sparrow seeing this, Firo seized the opportunity and continued to use Aerial Ace, crashing into Trapinch without hesitation. Pang! Trapinch's body exploded. This is also a clone. Firo's trainer's expression suddenly changed. Oops! Hucky! Under the cave, the real Trapinch quickly rushed out and bit Firo on the leg. Pang! Trapinch hit Firo hard, and Trapinch bit Firo's leg and hit him on the ground. Su Ying finally gave the order, the last move, bulldoze. Trapinch jumped up and hit Firo hard in the stomach. Boom! The soil beneath Firo cracked like a spider web. Firo loses the ability to fight. Tip: Trapinch won a battle and gained 542 experience points. Tip: Mission: get a reward of 100,000 Pokémon coins, which can be transferred to the host account through safe channels. Tip: please choose to copy skills. Suan chooses to copy Defog. Firo, stand up. Firo's trainer, at this time, shouted again unwillingly, but did not receive a response. Damn it, come back, Firo. Firo's trainer looked at Zhao Ziyi angrily, wait for me. Zhao Ziyi. No, why did you make me wait? Zhao Ziyi said confusedly, I didn't win you. Humph, if you hadn't held me back, I would have taken Cinchino away long ago. Damn it, don't let me meet you outside. Come back, Firo. Firo's trainer took his Firo back and left directly. I'm convinced. What do you mean? Look, I'm easy to bully. Zhao Ziyi was resentful. Suan, your Trapinch is too powerful. That Firo is not your rival at all. Chen Ting looked at Suan excitedly. Shen Yu looked at Suan with eyes full of admiration. Zhao Ziyi, who was already depressed, became even more depressed when he saw this scene. The reason why Zhao Ziyi invited Chen Ting and the others to play was because he wanted to find a chance to show off in front of them, but he unexpectedly became a foil. Chen Ting said to Suan, have you been in the secret realm for the past 20 days? Your changes look really great. What have you experienced? Tell me quickly. Just in time, it's almost time for lunch. Let's take a walk and have dinner together at our camp. Suan looked at Chen Ting who was using bullet seed and smiled, wait a moment. I still have something to do. What Firo said about trainer is right. Since it is an ownerless Pokémon, everyone has the right to compete. Suan doesn't want another person to suddenly appear and want snatch Snivy. Suan looked at Tang Tang Snake sitting on the branch and said, Snivy, we haven't had a formal battle yet. Suan said and took out a Pokeball. So, let's fight. If I win, can you come with me? On the branches. Snivy stood up after listening to Suan's words. Snivy jumped to the opposite side of Trapinch with a light jump. Deny. Chapter 23. I'll go, Snivy. Zhao Ziyi looked at Snivy in shock. Is this the Snivy that someone posted in the Sunny Shore secret realm? Suan, you must be very lucky. Chen Ting looked at Snivy on the court with a gossipy face. It sounds like Suan has known this Snivy for a long time. Shen Yu waved her hand. Suan, come on Trapinch. Behind Shen Yu, Cinchino quietly poked his head out. It's okay, Cinchino. Would you like something to eat? Cinchino, who was about to run away, stopped when he heard this. Hint, Battle of Conquest. Task requirement, conquer the second partner. Task reward, rare candy, can improve the level of a Pokémon. Snivy, be careful. Suan launched an attack, Trapinch, Quicksand Abyss. Deny. Snivy's Vine Whip swung, and then quickly wrapped around the branches of a big tree. The Vine Whip pulled Snivy out of the scope of the Quicksand Abyss. Tatsuno. Magical leaves gather around Snivy. Gust. Trapinch looked at the magical leaf flying towards him and took a deep breath, then a strong wind hit him. The magical leaf was blown away one after another. Tatsuno. Behind the magical leaf, Vine Whip shoots quickly. Trapinch, bite. Hucky. Trapinch looked at the Vine Whip shot at him and opened his mouth. Snapped. Trapinch swung hard, and Snivy, who was connected to Vine Whip, was pulled down by Trapinch. Pang. Deny. Snivy fell to the ground, supporting his body with one hand, looking at Suan and raising the corners of his mouth slightly. Go ahead, Pokeball. Suan took out the Pokeball and threw it at Snivy. The red and white Pokeball hit Snivy. The Pokeball quickly opened and the red light sucked Snivy in. Shake ding. The Pokeball stops shaking. Tip, mission accomplished. Hint, you get rare candy. Suan looked at the Pokeball and smiled. Conquered the Tang snake. Hucka Trapinch cheered. Bang 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 Chen Ting, Shen Yu and the others clapped their hands. Congratulations! Suan picked up the Pokeball and looked at everyone with a smile and said, thank you. Come out, Snivy Deny. Snivy jumped on Suan's shoulders. We're going to live together from now on, Snivy Deny. Suan's temporary camp. Wow! Is this where you have been living and training? Chen Ting looked at the simple training props in the Suan camp and exclaimed, it's very interesting to see here. Not at all. Suan put down his backpack. I only stayed in this place for one day. I originally planned to leave in the afternoon and look for a new campsite. Awesome, this is called secret exploration. Zhao Ziyi listened to Suan's words and laughed at himself, compared to you, we are just like playing house. Suan smiled, how come? But why do you want to come to the secret realm? Of course it's too boring. Chen Ting said, it's almost halfway through the summer vacation. As for you, I can't contact you in the secret realm. Shen Yu is in cram school every day again. I just want everyone to come to the secret realm to play together. Zhao Ziyi raised his hand. I'm a bodyguard. Chen Ting rolled her eyes. You still have the nerve to say that if Suan hadn't come, we would have been robbed. Chen Ting said, looking at Evie who was playing with the stakes behind Trapinch and said, be careful, Evie, don't fall down. When Chen Ting and Shen Yu's Evie and Suan met for the first time, not to mention their level, even their experience bar didn't change much. If you must find a change, it's probably that they have gained weight. Zhao Ziyi put down his hand nonchalantly. I can't help it. Zangoose and I don't have a good cooperation, but I think if we let Zangoose perform on his own, we might win. For high school students, it is definitely very dangerous to go deep into the secret realm alone without the protection of powerful Pokémon. The level of Zhao Ziyi's father's Zangoose is level 25. In this secret realm, except for a limited number of Pokémon, this Zangoose is enough to protect their safety. Suan looked at Zhao Ziyi curiously and asked, speaking of which, what was your first Pokémon? When Zhao Ziyi heard what Suan said, he immediately took out his Pokeball and looked around. Wait a minute, let me introduce it to you. Zhao Ziyi ran to the river not far from the camp. Come out, Pop Dolphin. Plop! The sky blue Popper's dolphin jumped into the river, and then happily sprayed water spray toward the shore. Zhao Ziyi said proudly, although Pop Dolphin is an ocean Pokémon, it also has the ability to fight on the shore. Pop's dolphin, come up. Popper's dolphin was wrapped in a layer of water and then jumped to the shore. Water curtain is the ability of Popper's dolphin, which can prevent Popper's dolphin from being burned. Most places in this world are oceans. With a Pokémon like this, it will be much easier to go out to sea and play. How's it going? Not bad, right? Suan looked at the Popper dolphin and nodded slightly. Yeah, very energetic. That's what I said. Chen Ting said at this time, but pure water-type Pokémon will still suffer when they compete in the college entrance examination. After all, the college entrance examination uses standard battlefields. After hearing this, Zhao Ziyi looked at Chen Ting and laughed, for us, the Pokémon college entrance examination is just a matter of fun. Don't take it too seriously. As you all know, my family has a small factory and the conditions are pretty good. But compared with those really rich people, it's really nothing. Those mega-rich second generation are all born with accompanying Pokémon. Some bosses can even get a quasi-god level Pokémon egg as soon as their wives are pregnant. Moreover, they have grown up under the guidance of professional trainers since they were young. They are rich and hardworking. How do you compare? After Zhao Ziyi finished speaking, he looked at Suan. Of course, I think Suan will definitely be able to reach 2 rounds in the provincial high school competition this year. Anyway, the school will definitely have no problem qualifying. Chapter 24. Tana Snivy used Vine Whip to roll up the garbage and put it into the garbage bag in Shen Yu's hand. Suan, do these wood need to be removed? Zhao Ziyi looked at Suan and asked. Well, just dismantle it and put it in this storage ball. Okay, Zangoose. Mongoose. Just when Zangoose was about to pull out the wooden stakes, he saw Trapinch stepping on the ground. The ground under the wooden piles surged, and then the wooden piles fell to the ground as if they were squeezed out by the earth. Hucky! Zangoose glanced at Trapinch, then picked up the stake. Zhao Ziyi and the others were going back in the evening, and Suan also planned to change camps, so after eating, everyone helped Suan pack up. Suan, do you really want to continue to stay in the secret realm? Chen Ting looked at Suan and said, after all, your Trapinch is already very strong. Suan still has a treasure chest that he hasn't picked up, so he won't leave. It's okay to go out, so I still plan to stay in the secret realm for a while. Chen Ting smiled, that's right. After the camp is cleaned up. Suan said to Zhao Ziyi and the others, let's go, I'll take you to the main road. Okay Mongoose. Zangoose called out to Zhao Ziyi at this time, and then looked at Trapinch. Hucky! Trapinch tilted his head. Mongoose. Zangoose's eyes looked serious. Suan looked at Zangoose. You want to fight my Trapinch? Mongoose. Zangoose nodded. Tip, Zangoose has challenged your Trapinch. Victory reward, copy the skill once. Suan looked at Zhao Ziyi. Can I hit you? Zhao Ziyi scratched his head, I have no objection. Upon seeing this, Chen Ting immediately said, okay, then I will be your referee. Zhao Ziyi waved his hand, no need, I won't give random orders anymore. Zangoose, is it okay? Mongoose. Zhao Ziyi stepped aside. Zhao Ziyi looked at Chen Ting beside him and said, to be honest, I still feel that if I had allowed Zangoose to play freely, the Firo might not have been rival. On the open ground. Zangoose watched Trapinch opposite him speed up instantly. Quick attack. Trapinch, double team. Zangoose passed through Trapinch's clone. Mongoose. A large number of rock fragments appeared around Zangoose's body. Quicksand abyss. Under Zangoose's body, the ground collapsed like quicksand. Zangoose glanced at the ground and changed his attack target without hesitation. The rock tomb smashed underneath Zangoose. Pang! Amidst a roar, a large amount of smoke filled the air. Trapinch, gust. Trapinch used gust on the smoke in front of him. As the smoke was blown away, Zangoose rushed directly towards Trapinch with gust's power. Quick attack. Zangoose assisted the impact of rock tomb, not only escaped from the quicksand abyss, but also immediately launched an attack on Trapinch. Amazing! Suan praised him and then continued to order. In that case, let's go to. White light flashed above Trapinch's body. Pang! Trapinch also used quick attack, and the two Pokémon collided hard. Trapinch took 2 steps back. Zangoose's body slid backwards, and then he quickly stuck his claws on the ground to stabilize his body. Amazing! Chen Ting looked at the battle on the field in surprise, it seems that what you said is correct. Zhao Ziyi was a little sad and a little proud. Yeah, I just said that my Zangoose is very powerful. On the battlefield. Trapinch stomped on the ground. Rumble! The ground in front of Zangoose suddenly shook violently. The ground rose up and hit Zangoose's body. This time, Zangoose was knocked away directly. This battle was equally enjoyable for Trapinch. Hucky! Trapinch howled excitedly and used quick attack again. Zangoose struggled to stand up and slapped Trapinch with his paw. Pang! Zangoose's blow obviously didn't have much power anymore. Zangoose fell to the ground under Trapinch's tackle. Zhao Ziyi quickly shouted at this time, it's ready, Zangoose. Mongoose. Zangoose tried to stand up again, but failed. Mongoose. Zangoose sat on the ground panting and looked at Trapinch, then slowly lowered his head. Tip, Trapinch defeated Zangoose and gained 662 experience points. Please select a skill to copy. What Trapinch lacks now is powerful long-range anti-aircraft means. Zangoose's rock tomb is just right. Successfully copied rock tomb. Suan said to Snivy at this time, Snivy, green grass. Tana! A green light emanated from Snivy's body in all directions. This move of green grass can not only increase the power of the grass-type skill, but also speed up the Pokémon's self-healing speed. Sitting on the green grass with a bottle of potion, Zangoose quickly recovered. Thanks. Zhao Ziyi sincerely thanked Su A and you're welcome. Suan smiled, let's go, I'll see you off. There are many pedestrians on the main road in Suni Shore Secret Land. Some of them are returning, while others plan to go deeper. Suan stood at the intersection and looked at the three of them and said, I will send them here. Please be safe on your way back. Good. Shen Yu looked at Suan and said softly, you too. Chen Ting followed, then let's go. When you come out, please send us a message. No problem. Bye. Suan waved to them, then turned around and walked into the depths of the secret realm again. Huka Trapinch followed Suan and shouted. Why? Are you hungry again? Suan looked at Trapinch and smiled, will Snivy go to the river to shoot 2 fishes later? Huka Trapinch squealed happily. Is that okay, Snivy? Snivy sat on Suan's shoulders and shook the vine whip. Deny. Chapter 25. Deep in the secret realm of Suni Shore, August 1st SBA and Arbok hovered lazily, leaning against a large rock to bask in the sun. Arbok has a treasure chest symbol flashing above his head. Suan hid behind the tree and looked at the Arbok and said to himself, it turns out that the treasure hunt mission refers to defeating the strongest Pokémon in the secret realm. Race, Arbok attribute, poison level, 30 ability, intimidation individual value qualifications, HP, 19, attack, 23, defense, 19, special attack, 18, special defense, 19, speed, 21, skills, crunch, ice fang, thunder fang, fire fang, wrap, poison barb, glare, acid, swallow, iron tail. Hereditary skills, none. Hucky. Trapinch moved eagerly. Deny. Snivy looked at the big purple snake in front of him slightly nervously. The ability to intimidate will create an instinctive fear in the surrounding Pokémon, thereby reducing their offensive capabilities. But Trapinch's ability makes Trapinch not afraid at all. Suan gently touched Snivy's body. Don't worry, we'll fix it right away. Suan said and looked at Trapinch. Let's go. Hucky. Trapinch is currently level 26. Trapinch's strength has changed dramatically this month compared to when he first entered the secret realm. SBA. Abagui noticed the intruder and immediately stood up. SBA Abiogwa stuck out his tongue, and the pattern on his abdomen now looked like a big, ferocious face, full of intimidation. Suan made the first move. Trapinch, Sandstorm. Field skills are activated directly. Hucky. In the open space, a sandstorm blew. SBA. Arbok was very fast and swam towards Trapinch at high speed. Trapinch, Rock Tomb. Hucky. Around Trapinch's body, a large amount of rock gathered, and then all these rocks smashed towards Arbok. SBA Arbok looked strangely at the rock coming towards him without slowing down at all. Arbok's body was agility and nimbly dodged the rock tomb's attack, and then rushed out of the rock tomb's attack range. SBA. Arbok jumped up and shot Trapinch with his body like an arrow. Arbok's speed was so fast that Trapinch was tightly wrapped around Arbok's body before he could react. Ice Fang. Hucky. Ice spreads over Trapinch's body. Hucky. Trapinch let out a howl of pain growl. Trapinch, use Quicksand Abyss directly. Hucky. Trapinch struggled hard, and the ground beneath his feet began to collapse. Arbok glanced down, and when he was about to pull away, Trapinch opened his mouth and bit Arbok's body fiercely. SBA. Arbok screamed in pain, then opened his mouth and bit Trapinch again. SBA. The two Pokémon rolled in the rotating quicksand. Arbok's tail whipped the surrounding quicksand crazily, and a large amount of soil submerged downwards. Arbok plans to use Iron Tail to destroy Trapinch's quicksand abyss. So strong. Suan looked at the Arbok and murmured. Deny. Snivy watched the battle on the field nervously. Deny. Snivy wanted to intervene. In quicksand. Under Arbok's crazy attack, Trapinch's inner ferocity was completely aroused. Hucky. Trapinch bit Arbok's body tightly, and at the same time, the ground around him suddenly began to shake violently. Rumble Peng. Earth Power. Trapinch used Earth Power to bury himself and Arbok together. Trapinch. Suan shouted towards ground, and then said to Snivy beside him, be ready for support. Deny. Under the ground, the land stirs. Trapinch, climbed out. Hucky. Suan looked at the panting Trapinch and breathed a sigh of relief. Trapinch, are you okay? Hucky. Trapinch nodded. Peng. Just then the soil exploded and Arbok rushed out. SBA. Arbok's contest condition at this time also looked very bad. It quickly distanced itself from Trapinch, and then suddenly turned its head to look at Su-an Sba. Su-an looked at Arbok's eyes, and her heart suddenly tightened. Oops! Snivy, Vine Whip! Su-an hugged Snivy. Sba. Arbok's body bounced towards Su-an's position. Tatsuno. Snivy immediately used Vine Whip to wrap around a tree, and then swung over. Sba. Arbok squirted outwards from his mouth, and the acid hit Vine Whip. Snapped. Vine Whip breaks. Su-an and Snivy fell to the ground together. Hucky. Trapinch suddenly became anxious when he saw this scene. Trapinch ran towards Arbok with his little feet, but Trapinch's speed obviously couldn't catch up with Arbok. Arbok swam quickly towards Su-an and Snivy. Su-an looked at Arbok rushing over, but at this time he felt inexplicably calm. Snivy, Vine Whip. Target Trapinch. Tatsuno. Snivy stood in front of Su-an and quickly shot out the Vine Whip. Su-an quickly put his hands in his pockets, poured the antidote prepared just in case directly into his mouth, and blocked Snivy with his arms. Sba. Arbok is getting closer. Plop, plop, plop. At this moment, Su-an could even hear his heart beating violently. Hucky. Pang. Just when Arbok was about to bite Su-an, Trapinch fell from the sky, pulled by Vine Whip. Bulldoze. Pang. Trapinch stomped on Arbok's head. Boom. With this blow, rocks on the ground flew into the air and smoke filled the air. Ahem. Su-an coughed violently. Deny. Snivy quickly used defog to blow away the fog. Hucky. Trapinch lay on Arbok's head and panted violently. Ha! Su-an gasped and looked down. Arbok's head was suddenly smashed into the ground by Trapinch. Hint: Trapinch defeated Arbok. Gain 1123 experience points. Tip: Trapinch's level has been raised to level 27, 22/21174. Su-an smiled when he heard the system prompt tone. Haha, I won. Well done, Trapinch, Snivy. Su-an smiled and lay down on his back. It's so exciting. Su-an sighed. Tatsuno. Snivy looked a little nervous when Su-an was lying down, and jumped on Su-an, trying to pull Su-an up. Hucky. Trapinch also jumped off Arbok's body. Don't worry. Su-an looked at Trapinch and Snivy and smiled, I'm fine. Su-an calmed down and then sat up. Okay, let's see what good things are in the treasure chest. Snivy was relieved to see that Su-an was really fine. Deny. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you are notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.